Hey everyone, we've updated our channel name from Chinese Novel Audio Wave to Chinese Novel Audiobook. Nothing else will be changing. We're still uploading a new video every day, bringing you the best Chinese novel audiobooks. Let's dive into today's story. Chapter 1. The old emperor falls and the new emperor ascends the throne. Impelled down the 6th floor of the underwater prison. Don Quixote Doflamingo, someone's here to see you. The jailerman opened the prison door and a short figure walked in. Fu, isn't this Ms. Suru? How come you have the leisure to look at me, a prisoner? Doflamingo lay lazily on the ground, laughing devilishly. Marine Vice Admiral Crane threw the newspaper in his hand to Doflamingo. You will be able to see it in 2 days anyway, why not I send it to you in advance? Fu, is there something interesting happening on the sea again, FK? Doflamingo took the newspaper and found several wanted posters inside. When he saw the contents of the bounty clearly, he stood up excitedly, and the sea stone chain jingled. Vice Admiral, is today April Fool's Day? You came here specially to play this joke on me. This is a newly printed newspaper. It has now spread all over the world. The old emperor fell and the new emperor ascended the throne. What do you think after reading this, Doflamingo? Will it make you feel better? At least you were defeated by the new 4 emperors. Seeing Doflamingo's surprised look, Crane's depressed mood improved a little. What happened? Where is the strongest creature Kaido of the beasts? Where is the natural destroyer Charlotte Linlin? How did the bounty of that brat Luo reach 3 billion? I almost killed him a while ago. Doflamingo found that he could no longer laugh. Law and Kid teamed up to defeat Charlotte Linlin, and Luffy defeated Kaido. How about it? Are you surprised? After being imprisoned for a short time, has the outside world become strange? The newcomers nowadays are really a group of terrible monsters. Crane exclaimed. It's more than unfamiliar. Doflamingo still can't accept this fact. 2 of the 4 emperors who ruled the sea were replaced at once. Even Shichibukai's blood transfusion is not this powerful. Luffy is fine, after all, he has the blood of Garp and Dragon, and he is the heir chosen by red-haired Shanks. The most important thing is that he defeated himself. Doflamingo could accept that he became the 4 emperors. He pointed to a wanted poster and asked, how did this clown become the 4 emperors? On the wanted poster, a red-nosed clown is laughing wildly. Chinliangdaohua Buggy. He looked at the wanted poster. Because of him, the outside world is in chaos. How come I, Shichibukai, became one of the 4 emperors? On the Baikudorpu, the new 4 emperors, Senryo Buggy, locked himself in the captain's room, while deafening cheers were heard outside. Yeah, Captain Buggy, we love you. We are now subordinates of the 4 emperors, and 2 of them are our allies. Blackbeard, how do you feel now? Captain Buggy once insulted Redhead, but Redhead didn't dare to say anything. Captain Buggy is invincible. Could these guys who are eager to create chaos in the world please restrain themselves a little? Your Captain Buggy has disappeared, and a time traveler has taken his place. Don't I know how capable Buggy is? It would be fine if I traveled through the world of Pirates King, but why was it my soul traveling through time and I traveled through the body of the clown Buggy? It would have been fine if he had traveled through time a few years earlier, but the key point is that now Buggy has become one of the 4 emperors, and the marines and pirates who want to rise to the top are probably eyeing him. Damn it! The time traveler Lei Te slapped the table with his hand. A force came out and the table disappeared silently. Lei Te looked around and found that there was no trace of the table in the entire captain's room, as if it had been broken down into particles invisible to the naked eye. Decompose. Fall apart. Could it be? Lei Te quickly calmed down, felt his own power, and looked through the memories of Buggy, the original owner of the body. As the original owner of Chop Chop Fruit, Buggy has always been resistant to this power. People on the Pirate King Roger's ship generally don't eat devil fruit. Buggy, one of the members, also has this idea. In Buggy's memory, he was very confident in his own strength and believed that he did not need the devil fruit ability to become stronger. But after accidentally swallowing Chop Chop Fruit, Buggy was depressed for a long time. As a pirate, he lost the ability to swim, which made Buggy very disgusted with his devil fruit ability. Although he is a demon fruit power, he does not recognize the power of devil fruit, so the fruit ability cannot be developed at all. But Cat Viper once said that no one who can board the pirates King Roger's ship is weak. Buggy can fight on equal terms with early Shanks, so how can his talent be bad? Even though he hates the devil fruit ability, his chop chop fruit ability is slowly developing, and has even awakened, gaining the ability to rip other objects into pieces. But Buggy was so focused on finding treasure that he didn't care about this ability at all. But in Lei Te's opinion, the awakened chop chop fruit is more powerful than ever before. It can not only decompose itself, but also decompose the objects around it. Isn't this Gildart's super advanced destruction magic crush? Moreover, Lei Te can not only crush objects, but also control the crushed objects and make them move according to his own thoughts. Lei Te's mind moved, and the disappeared table reunited. There should be a lot of room for development of this fruit ability. If the decomposition ability can fission heavy atomic nuclei, wouldn't it be able to produce the power of atomic fission? Even now, some other operations should be possible. Lei Te looked at his left hand and slowly decomposed it into countless cells. Using the power of the fruit, he made these cells rub at high speed, and a trace of electric current was generated during the friction. From the outside, Lei Te's left hand had doubled in size, and the entire hand was flashing with lightning. Primary application of chop chop fruit, electric current push. As expected, Paramecia devil fruit is the most powerful one, full of endless possibilities. The Logia devil fruit, which was once hailed as a deity, has lost its glory, and has been replaced by the randomly made-up human fruit, a mythical beast species, which has taken the top spot. The sun god. He is just a spirit living in the rubber tree. When the chop chop fruit is developed to its limit and the power of fission and fusion is mastered, or the electric current is pushed and evolved into magnetic field rotation, mastering electromagnetic force, one of the four fundamental forces of the universe, who will be the real god? I don't know if Teacher Guy is dead now. Lei Te wanted to tell him that the Joy Boy he had been waiting for was useless and it was not Joy Boy who changed the world. The new era should be the era of Lei Te Boy. Just as Lei Te was thinking, there was a knock on the door of the captain's room. Captain Buggy, are you feeling better? Can we come in? Come in. Lei Te withdrew the power of the electric current. The door opened, and Alvida, Mr. 3, Mochi, and Kabaji slipped in quietly. What's the matter, my royal deputies? Chapter 2. The Buggy Pirates are full of talent. Captain Buggy, you're still in the mood for jokes. Mr. 3 Mr. Point 3 said anxiously, you have become the new 4 emperors. What should we do now? Mr. 3, my think tank, calm down. As a person as famous as Ben Beckman, you must learn to act deep and don't let others see your emotions. Lei Te said slowly. Captain Buggy, do you have a fever? How can I compare with Ben Beckman? He is the deputy of red-haired Shanks, the most powerful deputy, and the smartest person in the world. Mr. 3 even felt that Buggy was out of his mind. The strongest vice chairman. Lei Te laughed out loud. How do you know he is the strongest vice chairman? Have you ever seen him take action? That's not the case, but he threatened Marine Admiral Kizaru during the Summit War, and Kizaru was so scared that he dared not move. Mr. 3 recalled. He threatened Kizaru. Half of the New World's ocean was created by Kizaru. Even when facing the supernovas of the worst generation, he would say they were terrifying, and when he needed to take action, he would kick each supernova. Lei Te said, and you, Mr. 3. You almost made the Straw Hat Pirates Zoro lose his legs, and successfully suppressed the new 4 emperors Luffy, and brought down the former Shichibukai crocodile. Impel Down Magellan was strong enough, and forced the 3 emperors into a desperate situation, but it was you who stopped him. You also saved Ace in front of the Marine Marshal and escaped. This is a real achievement. How can Ben Beckman compare to you? You are the strongest Vice Emperor. Hearing the captain's words, the fire on Mr. 3's head became more intense. Although you said so, I know my own strength. Your strength still has a lot of room for improvement. You are the user of the wax fruit. Katakuri from the Big Mom Pirates became the leader of the 3 generals with the wax fruit. Your candle hardness is harder than glutinous rice when cooled, and softer than glutinous rice when heated. It is simply a superior fruit of the wax fruit, crushing Katakuri. Lei Te's hands floated out and landed on Mr. Three's shoulders. As long as you work hard, you will soon surpass him. Captain Buggy, I will keep working hard. Mr. Three suddenly felt like a man would die for his friend. It's all the fault of the sand crocodile. It has delayed my development. It would have been great if I had met Captain Buggy earlier. Captain Buggy, I am willing to burn everything for you. Calm down, Mr. Three, the fire on your head is about to burn your brain. Alvida exclaimed. That is the fire of my loyalty. I must do my best to send Captain Buggy to the throne of the Pirates King. Mr. Three imitated Ben Beckman and said deeply. Have you forgotten why we came here? To persuade Buggy to run away and leave New World, a place of trouble. Alvida didn't expect that Mr. Three, who seemed the calmest, was fooled by Buggy. Katakuri is famous for his observation hockey. How can you, who doesn't even know hockey, surpass him? And you, Alvida, your slippery fruit also has a lot of room for development. Lei Te looked at the few beauties in the pirates' world who didn't have Nami faces. Once the fruit awakens, its potential will be even greater than the wax fruit. Really, Captain Buggy, but I feel the ability of the slippery fruit is just average. Alvida couldn't figure out what else the slippery fruit could do. Paramecia's fruit requires imagination. You can slide away physical attacks now, and when the fruit awakens, you will be able to slide away energy attacks. With more effort, you may be able to slide all attacks back to the enemy. I have already thought of a name for the move, it's called vector control. They both manipulate energy by touching the skin. If Accelerator can do it, Alvida should be able to do it too. In any case, first instill this concept into Alvida. What if it really happens? Captain Buggy, what about us? Mochi, who is almost as fat as a ball, pointed at himself. I am now the vice captain of the 4 emperors. Do I have potential that has not been tapped? Chief of Staff Kabaji also looked at Lei Te expectantly. Mochi, don't you think you can control any animal in the world? Lei Te asked. Mochi cracked his whip. That's right, Captain Buggy. Big ones are also okay. As long as it's an animal, no matter what size it is, but sea kings are not allowed, they are not considered animals, said Mochi. There is a giant elephant near Wano-kuni. It has amazing combat power, but it is a little too big. If you tame it, you will immediately become a deputy emperor level combat force. Lei Te didn't know if Mochi's ability to tame animals was as good as he boasted, but this guy really didn't have much potential. It's just an elephant, it's easy for me, Mochi said confidently. As for you, Kabaji, give up your unicycle. I feel like it's limiting your development. You should go the route of combining physical skills with swordsmanship, and learn some kicking skills. Lei Te thought that this guy could walk on a vertical wall on a unicycle, and his leg strength was extraordinary. He would probably be able to learn moonwalk in no time. Like Blackfoot Sanji. Cabbage tried to kick out, and it actually produced a sonic boom. I have trained such strong legs after so many years of unicycling. Captain Buggy, you are so wise. Kabaji's eyes were filled with tears. I will smash the unicycling when I get home and concentrate on practicing my kicking skills. Lei Te didn't expect that Cabbage had such hidden abilities. Could it be that the Buggy Pirates are really full of talented people? By the way, Captain Buggy, shouldn't we go and hide from the limelight? Alvida remembered the purpose of coming here. We are already being chased by the Marine, and now there is a group of revolutionary soldiers on the ship. If this continues, the Marine might send out the Admiral. Don't worry, the Marines are mostly focused on Wano-kuni right now, so there won't be any admirals who will attack us, right? Lei Te said as he flipped through Buggy's memories, then became unsure. At the same time, I also understand why Buggy will become the new 4 emperors. In response to the Marine's siege of Shichibukai, Buggy's ships engaged in a fierce battle with the Marine. They fled and fought their way to the vicinity of the Holy Land of Mariajoy, preparing to launch a special buggy bomb at the Holy Land of Mariajoy. They happened to meet the revolutionary army that was escaping after rescuing the tyrant bear, and saved them when their ship was about to sink. This scene happened to be seen by Marine. More importantly, the revolutionary army also held a celestial dragon hostage, who was the guy who used the tyrant bear as a mount during the World Congress, Saint Roswald. The celestial dragons were hijacked during the World Summit, and the news immediately shocked the whole world. No wonder Buggy's bounty skyrocketed and he became 4 emperors. This is the reason. At this time, outside the captain's room, a crew member rushed over to report, "Captain Buggy, a marine is chasing us." The leader is Marine Admiral Fujitora the Life. Chapter 3. The strong man's clothing is very important. What should we do, Captain? Fujitora is not easy to deal with. Mr. 3 could no longer pretend to be serious. Why are you panicking? He's just a Marine Admiral. Lei Te knew that Fujitora was probably the strongest force that Marine could send out. Sengoku has retired and it's unlikely that Garp will come to the rescue of the celestial dragons. Akainu, the Marine Marshal, will be stationed at the Marine headquarters, and the new Admiral Green Bull will go to Wanokuni. Kizaru. No news about him. It seems like he has disappeared. Could it be that he has gone to work as the principal of a kindergarten? What do you mean he is just a Marine Admiral? Captain Buggy, have you become arrogant after becoming a 4 emperor? You actually started to look down on Marine Admirals. The 4 people in the house found that Captain Buggy became a little strange. The enthusiasm that had just been aroused by Buggy was also dampened by the news of the arrival of the Marine Admiral. As Captain Buggy's closest people, they know the strength of the Buggy Pirates very well. The Buggy Pirates are a rare pirates group where the strength of the crew members is almost the same as that of the cadres. Many of the crew members are good guys who escaped from the 4th floor of Impel Down underground prison. They are also the main force of Buggy Express Company. After seeing Buggy chatting and laughing with Whitebeard, the red-haired man, at the Summit War, and seeing that he was a crew member of the pirates King Roger, the crew members thought that Buggy was as powerful as the 4 emperors. Buggy becoming the 4 emperors further reinforced their idea. But Captain Buggy doesn't really think that his strength is on par with the 4 emperors. Although he usually doesn't have much brains and does things in a disorderly manner, the situation this time seems to be more serious. Could it be that the brain was separated when it was torn into pieces? Captain Buggy, that was Fujitora's life, Marine Admiral Fujitora's life. The Revolutionary Army was defeated by him, and now he's chasing us. Mr. 3's face turned pale with fright. I know. Since he's chasing us and we can't hide anymore, let's go meet Fujitora Issei. Lei Te also wanted to try out the power of the awakened Chop Chop fruit. Wait, Captain Buggy, you're not going to dress up as a giant anymore. Alvida discovered that Buggy had even changed his habits. Normally, Buggy wears a robe and uses Chop Chop fruit to disguise himself as a giant in order to show off his majesty. No need for that. That kind of bluffing trick is not acceptable at all. In fact, Buggy is not short. He is nearly 2 meters tall, almost the same height as Hawkeye. It's just that there are too many tall people in the Pirates King world, so Buggy looks a little short. Wait a minute, you guys go out and deal with Fujitora first. I'm going to change my clothes. Lei Te suddenly felt that the clothes on his body were a bit eye-catching. Captain Buggy, it's already this hour, and you're still thinking about this kind of thing. Mr. 3 was so angry that he almost burned the people around him. Is that kind of thing important? It's very important. As a strong man, you also need clothes to set off. Do you think I look like a 4 emperors now? Lei Te pointed to the brightly colored clothes on his body. Isn't this beautiful? Mochi picked a booger and wiped it on his fur coat. Alvida glanced at Mochi with disdain. Then how about I help you choose, Captain Buggy? No need, I'll be out soon. You guys hold Fujitora back first. Don't worry, there are celestial dragons on the ship, he won't do anything rash. Lei Te drove them out. There was Buggy's wardrobe in the captain's room. Lei Te opened it and saw a pile of brightly colored clothes. Forget it, why not try to use the Chop Chop Fruit's ability to decompose and remake one? On the deck of the Baikutop, the cheers had stopped because a marine warship was floating in the sky. The words, "Life," were written on the huge sail of the warship. It was Fujitora's warship. When Mr. 3 and his 4 companions came out, the Revolutionary Army was also on the deck. The Revolutionary Army Chief of Staff Sabo, Kadri Koala, and 4 Revolutionary Army commanders all came out. There is also a pink-haired woman, Jewelry Bonnie. Where's Captain Buggy? Sabo noticed that Buggy didn't come out with him. Fujitora wants to talk to Captain Buggy. Cough, cough. As the new Emperor of the Sea, how can Captain Buggy show up so easily? Mr. 3 coughed twice. He couldn't say that Buggy was changing clothes. As for Fujitora, let me, as the deputy of the 4 emperors, handle it. Mr. 3 imitated Ben Beckman's demeanor, slowly walked to the bow, used his fruit ability to create a pistol, and pointed it into the sky. Fujitora, you blocked the 4 emperors' path for no reason. Are you ready to start a war? Mr. 3, Fujitora is blind. He can't see anything you do. Alvita said in a low voice. No need, beautiful lady, my observation hockey can sense it. Fujitora just didn't understand what Mr. 3 was trying to do. Hand over Saint Rosward, and I will let you go. This time, Fujitora received an order from the 5 elders, asking him to rescue Saint Roswald. As for the Buggy Pirates, they can be put on hold for now. Fujitora actually felt very disgusted with coming to rescue the celestial dragons, but the Holy Land of Mariajoy was in chaos now. If Saint Roswald was not rescued quickly, the celestial dragons might launch a large-scale revenge. Don't even think about it. Bonnie yelled, we've already killed that B*******************. Ms. Bonnie, you should know that if something happens to Saint Rosward, many innocent people will die with him. Fujitora said slowly, especially the Kingdom of Seoul, which may be destroyed because of this. You bastards. Bonnie cursed, what do you think of civilians? Fujitora was silent for a moment, so for the sake of those innocent lives, please send Saint Rosward back. We are just guests. It is not our decision whether to let him go or not. Sabo said, only Captain Buggy can make the decision. Besides, can you stop us alone? Sabo's hand ignited with fire. This is not the Holy Land of Mariajoy. If we weren't afraid of disrupting the order of the Holy Land, you guys would have died there long ago. Behind Fujitora, a man wearing a white suit, a black coat, and a clivia decorative flower on his chest walked out from the shadows. CP0 Agent Rob Lucci. CP0. When did the secret cipher pole directly under Celestial Dragons get mixed up with Marine? Sabo knew there was no way he could do anything. With Lucci and the others, the Revolutionary Army may not be their match. They have already caused a lot of trouble for the Buggy Pirates, we can't drag them down with us. Especially Buggy is the savior of his younger brother Luffy. You don't need to worry about these. Where is the clown Buggy? Let him get out, Lucci said coldly. You be **********************, how dare you disrespect Captain Buggy? The crew members of the Buggy Pirates immediately started shouting. Just a bunch of clowns. As a CP0 agent, Lucci could naturally look through the information about the Buggy Pirates that the world government had. Buggy simply tricked Marine into becoming a Shichibukai using his seniority. Now, by chance, he has become one of the 4 emperors, and the world government wants to take this opportunity to stir up infighting among the pirates. But there are many good guys among the Buggy Pirates crew, and it is them that the world government wants to eliminate. You are nothing more than a celestial dragon's dog. What right do you have to insult my crew? A figure slowly walked out from behind. It's Captain Buggy, we love you. The crew members were about to cheer, but suddenly they were stunned. Who are you? Chapter 4. Clown Game, live broadcast to the world. The tight vest outlines the muscles. A large cape was casually draped over his shoulders. With her long blue hair hanging down, her pale face, dark circles under her eyes, and red paint extending from her lips to her cheeks, she seemed to be mocking the world. If it weren't for the iconic red nose, no one would be able to associate the person in front of them with Buggy. Captain Buggy, how did you become like this? Alvida asked in surprise. I just put on some makeup again. After Lei Te used the Chop Chop Fruit's ability to make his clothes, he redid his makeup to look like the Gotham Joker. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. It feels different from before. It's become a bit chaotic and evil, Alvida said hesitantly. Buggy the clown. Lucci was not angry because Buggy said CP0 was the dog of celestial dragons, because that was indeed the case. It feels a little different from before. Fujitora looked solemn. Fujitora couldn't see Buggy's appearance, but according to his observation haki, Buggy's body was filled with lightning power, and this lightning power was constantly moving, forming a power similar to Kid's magnetic fruit. In fact, after putting on the magnetic field boss's characteristic tight vest and cape, Lei Te felt that he had a deeper understanding of the power of electric current. There is no visible abnormality from the outside, but the cells in the body are constantly generating electricity through friction under the power of Chop Chop Fruit. When the current push reaches a critical value, the current push is naturally transformed into magnetic field rotation. The power of Devil Fruit is so subjective. As long as you understand the general principles and the usage methods do not exceed the capabilities of Devil Fruit, the rest will be left to Devil Fruit. Once the magnetic field rotation is formed, it begins to strengthen the two power cores of the heart and the brain. Lei Te can use the power of his fruit to keep the magnetic field rotating continuously, which is equivalent to 24 hours of uninterrupted practice. I just don't know how high the magnetic field rotation force can be cultivated in the environment of the pirates' world. The key is that I don't have any method to cultivate the power of magnetic field, so I can only explore it slowly. What about the celestial dragons? Lei Te asked Mr. 3. He's locked up in the cabin. Captain Buggy, are you going to release him? Mr. 3 felt that Roswald Saint was a hot potato and it would be better to return it to Marine. Sabayati Archipelago only beat up celestial dragons, but this time they directly hijacked a celestial dragon, which is much more serious than last time. Bring him up here, Lei Te said with a smile. Since Marine calls us clowns, let's play a clown game. Mr. 3 was worried and decided to escort the celestial dragons out personally. Lucci obviously lost his patience. Buggy, don't do unnecessary things. The 5 elders are very annoyed about this matter. Even if those 5 old guys are angry to death, what does it have to do with me? Lei Te spread his hands. I am no longer Shichibukai. Now it seems that we are in a hostile relationship. HMPH. Lucci glanced at Fujitora. It was Fujitora who proposed the abolition of the 7 warlords of the sea. At that time, the Marine headquarters believed that the Marine's strength had greatly increased and it had the strength to compete with the 4 emperors, and there was no need for the 7 warlords of the sea to balance the forces of both sides. As a result, Wano Kuni was in turmoil, and Blackbeard and Red Hair also began to take action, involving most of the Marine's forces. The Revolutionary Army took the opportunity to sneak into the Holy Land of Mariajoy, and not only rescued the Tyrant Bear, but also kidnapped Saint Rosward, who used the Tyrant Bear as a mount. Even if we are enemies, you know how important celestial dragons are. Lucci said, not to mention you, even red-haired Shanks wouldn't dare to hurt celestial dragons. Fujitora sighed, Master Buggy, release Saint Rosward. I will ensure your safe departure. That's not important. Play a game with me and I can return him to you. But I require that this game be broadcast live to the whole world, just like the Summit War. Lei Te said. Impossible. Lucci flatly refused. How could something related to celestial dragons be broadcast live around the world? Really? Lei Te saw Mr. 3 already coming out with the dejected Saint Rosward. Sir Celestial Dragons, you only need to broadcast a Joker game live and you can return to the Holy Land of Mariajoy, but your men don't seem to agree. With a flash of sword light, Lei Te had already drawn the sword from his waist and cut off one of Saint Rosward's fingers. Saint Rosward had probably never been injured before. He hesitated for a moment, and when he saw his fingers falling to the ground, he felt the pain and wailed loudly. Buggy. Lucci never thought that Buggy would actually dare to hurt the celestial dragons. Not to mention the Marine, even the Buggy Pirates and the Revolutionary Army didn't expect Buggy to do this. Captain Buggy, this will cause a big commotion. Mr. 3 warned in a low voice. That's perfect. As one of the 4 emperors, I won't feel comfortable sitting in this position unless I make some noise. Lei Te said. Well done, Captain Buggy. Are you pirates still hiring? Bonnie asked. Bonnie's liking for Buggy increased greatly after he was able to vent his anger for Tyrant Bear. Of course I'm hiring. As a royal group, Lei Te has few men with decent combat power. Bonnie is one of the supernovas after all, and he can be considered a capable fighter. Then our pirates group will be merged into your Buggy Pirates group, Bonnie said. After a brief moment of surprise, the crew of the Buggy Pirates suddenly cheered. As expected of Captain Buggy, he easily accomplished what others dared not do. Redhead doesn't dare to hurt celestial dragons, but Captain Buggy does. Captain Buggy is more powerful than Redhead. These guys. Lei Te discovered that when it comes to loyalty, the Buggy Pirates may be second to none. Have you thought it through? Lei Te placed the sword on Saint Rosward's hand. The cold touch brought Saint Rosward back to his senses. Lucci, you be asterisk 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 d. Saint Rosward cursed, I was hurt because of you. Lucci's eyes were cold, and he asked in a low voice, Fujitora, can you take them down in an instant? How is that possible? The person on the other side is no ordinary person either, said Fujitora. Wait a moment, I'll ask the 5 elders for instructions. Lucci took out the Den Mushi and contacted the 5 elders. After a while, Lucci put down the Den Mushi. The 5 elders have agreed to your request. I hope you can keep your promise and release Saint Rosward after you finish playing your clown game. Let Morgan's news bird be in charge of this live broadcast. I believe the News King should be very interested in this. Lei Te made a request. The moral integrity of the world government cannot be trusted. Morgan's is not our man, and we can't guarantee whether he will send anyone or not. Lucci said. This is the first live broadcast of the new 4 emperors, and the celestial dragons will be performing as a guest. Morgan's will not refuse this. Lei Te is very confident about this. Chapter 5. The world's focus and reactions from all sides. Sacred Mariajoy, Pengu. In the 5 elders' room, a fierce dispute is currently taking place. Are you going to agree to Buggy's request so easily? Otherwise, Saint Rosward is in his hands. It was a mistake to make Buggy one of the 4 emperors. It just made this clown swell up. Can the Marines still send combat forces to assist? Akainu refused the order for reinforcements. He said Blackbeard and Redhead's whereabouts were unknown and he wanted to stay at the Marine headquarters. Marine has become less obedient since he took over. What about Sengoku and Garp? Garp is eager to watch the excitement of celestial dragons, so why would he take action? Sengoku seems to be watching. Send CP1 over, and bring the newly developed stuff as well. The world is getting more and more chaotic. Contact Blackbeard. After the live broadcast, Buggy the Clown can't stay. Are we going to change to 4 emperors again? Who will we change to, Kid or Law? No one is worry-free. At the Marine headquarters, in Sengoku's room, Garp, who received the news, ran here to watch the live broadcast. It seems like a big joke. The white-haired Sengoku frowned. What is wrong with this world? The balance has been broken, and the world is beginning to move in an uncontrollable direction. Garp said nonchalantly as he ate senbei in big mouthfuls. It's your grandson who caused this. Sengoku rolled his eyes at Garp. Your son is already a worry, and your grandson is even more outrageous. Hey, Luffy's fruit can actually transform into that form, and he even beat Kaido. Garp was also shocked after seeing the report, that devil fruit is not ordinary. Garp knew Kaido's strength and couldn't understand how Luffy defeated Kaido. Was it a trap set by red-haired Shanks? Sengoku pondered. I remember that the devil fruit was brought to Luffy by Shanks. Sengoku heard Garp talk about the original incident. It should be just an accident. If it was really Shanks's plan, Ace should have eaten the devil fruit. Garp's voice became low. So what you did was outrageous. If it weren't for the title of Marine Hero, you would have been on the gallows by now. Sengoku got angry when he saw Garp. Ha 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 ha, if I get hanged, the Marines will have a lot of work to do. Garp laughed out loud, maybe there will be 2 more Summit Wars. I once wanted my whole family to join the Marines, but Dragon saw through everything, and Luffy was bewitched by Shanks and would rather be a pirate than a Marine. Garp stopped smiling and said, when did the self-proclaimed righteous Marine become like this? Justice. Sengoku looked out the window, everyone's justice is different. Maybe there is darkness in Marine, but every time I see newcomers like Fujitora, first feel that Marine still has hope. What do you think Buggy wants to do? Knowing that big news was going to happen, the news bird used its maximum speed. The live broadcast had already begun, and on the screen in the room, Buggy sitting on the candle throne and Saint Rosward behind him could already be seen. I don't know. Garp ate his senbei with a crunching sound. After all, he's a guy as famous as Shanks. I'm not surprised at all what he does. You take this seriously. He was just a little pirate wandering around a few years ago. Sengoku had already investigated Buggy's information thoroughly. Little pirates. Garp sneered, Sengoku, are you blind? Garp looked at Buggy on the screen. But even I misjudged him. Back in the Summit War, he was a funny guy. Now, looking at his demeanor, he really does look a bit like the Emperor of the Sea. Could it be that the title of 4 Emperors has such a magical power? At the same time, the new 4 Emperors Buggy appeared on screens all over the world. Don't let me down. News King Morgans watched the scene. I sent the news bird to notify all the major forces, they must make a big news for me. Ha 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 ha, what is this, a new clown show? Blackbeard, hugging 2 beauties, watched the live broadcast. Does this guy really think he is the 4 Emperors? The joining of this clown has lowered the style of the 4 Emperors. The world government is also becoming more and more outrageous. Rain Shiryu sneered at the side. But it's not very favorable for us now. Among the 4 Emperors, except for us, the remaining 2 are related to the red-haired Shanks. Lafitte said, why don't we strike first? At this moment, a black Den Mushi next to Blackbeard started to ring. Ha 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 ha, I'm watching the live broadcast. What, are you going to step the guy you picked up in one hand into the abyss again? Blackbeard laughed wildly. He made an unforgivable mistake and hurt the celestial dragons. So, make him disappear. A cold voice came from the black Den Mushi. Speaking of which, we are old acquaintances. That guy has been keeping an eye on me for 3 days and 3 nights. He is quite perceptive. Blackbeard showed a ferocious smile, and he and Shanks are like brothers. He has to pay more. If you let him get away with it, you won't feel good about it either. The black Den Mushi had a blank expression. Speaking of which, he is the most business-minded of the 4 Emperors, and he managed the military aid in a very good way. Now he's the 4 Emperors, and his reputation is even greater. Once his Buggy Express continues to expand. I understand. Blackbeard looked at Buggy on the screen. I will give the newcomer a welcome ceremony and tell him what the 4 Emperors are. Blackbeard hung up the black Den Mushi and stood up. Boys, set sail. I'm going to hold a grand welcome party for my old friend. Come to think of it, our troop is still in need of a circus. I think they are just right. The Devil Sheriff Lafitte chuckled. Ha 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 ha, that's a great idea. I wonder what red-haired Shanks' expression would be if we had this circus on our ship. Blackbeard's laughter spread throughout the Sword of Zebek. What the hell is this guy doing? On Red Force, red-haired Shanks stared at the screen in amazement. As expected of the captain's friend, he made a big move as soon as he became 4 Emperors. Ben Beckman blew out a smoke ring and said leisurely. If Buggy keeps doing this, the world government will not let him go. Damn it, his ideal is obviously just to dig for treasure, he shouldn't be involved in this kind of thing. Shanks had already seen the injured Rosward Saint behind Buggy. Captain, worry makes you confused. Since he is your friend, why don't you trust him? Asked Ben Beckman. But he has become less reliable since he ate the devil fruit. It's also my fault. I caused him to accidentally eat the devil fruit. Shanks slapped his head. Anyway, let's see what he wants to do. Ben Beckman is also interested. Let the Red Force move in that direction. It will be there to help if anything goes wrong. Shanks said. Aren't you afraid that the Marines will overreact? Ben Beckman said helplessly. Their nerves must be on edge. I don't care about that. We are friends after all. Shanks said with a smile, let's go. At this moment, countless people in the world are watching this scene. Even the grand banquet of Wano-kuni in the distance was interrupted by Apu. Big news, the new Four Emperors clown King Buggy is live streaming. Chapter 6. Small Justice. The warship Life floating in the air landed on the sea. We have done what you asked. Now it's time to tell us what your clown game is. Lucci stared at Buggy on the candle throne and said coldly. Don't worry, it will start soon. Lei Te waved his hand, and the newsbird quickly pointed the camera at him. After traveling to the world of Pirates King and possessing the powerful power of Devil Fruit and mastering the power of magnetic fields, do you still have to play the game of pretending to be a pig and eating the tiger? That would be an insult to the magnetic field power in your body. The magnetic field guy just wants to go crazy. The crazier he is, the faster the magnetic field power grows. This has been verified by countless magnetic field guys with their lives. Let's start with some big news that will shock the world. Hello everyone, maybe many of you have already known me during the Summit War. Let me introduce myself again. I am Buggy, the King of Clowns, formerly one of the 7 warlords of the sea, and now one of the 4 emperors of the New World. As you can see, I am an evil pirate who, by chance, met a noble celestial dragons. Lei Te hooked his hand, and Mr. 3 put pressure on Rosward Saint. You must be familiar with the celestial dragons, the world's nobles. Every year, you have to offer most of your wealth to them as heavenly gold. But you rarely see their true appearance. After all, they even think it's dirty to breathe the same air as the common people. Lei Te kicked Saint Rosward on the leg, and Saint Rosward fell directly in front of the candle throne. Just as he was about to stand up, Lei Te's foot was already on his head. UB**********************************. D. Lucci wanted to rush over, but quickly stopped. Because Lei Te used his sword to pierce Saint Rosward's palm and stuck it on the deck. Lucci, you've injured Saint Rosward again. This is the 2nd time. Lei Te shook his head. Do you really want to kill Saint Rosward? Lucci was so angry that his eyes almost spit fire, but he didn't dare to take another step forward. At the Marine headquarters, some Marine generals gathered together to watch the world live broadcast of the 4 Emperors Buggy. Smoker, how did you catch this madman in the first place? Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral Hina looked at the high and mighty celestial dragons being trampled under Buggy's feet, and the first feeling in his heart was actually pleasure. Our Smoker Vice Admiral once captured 2 of the 4 emperors. No admiral can match his record. Admiral candidate Momonosuke was also here and said with a smile, maybe soon, Smoker will be promoted to admiral before me. Stop making fun of me. Smoker looked at Buggy on the screen, not understanding why the world changed so fast. How did the little pirates that were easily caught at first become 4 emperors? On the screen, Lei Te was still giving his speech. Before I could entertain this noble, celestial dragon, the Justice Marine came to kill me. This is Marine Admiral Fujitora Issei, please give him a shot. The newsbird quickly changed the camera, and Fujitora appeared on the screen with a frown on his face. Mr. Fujitora said that although celestial dragons has committed many evil deeds, for the safety of more people, it is best to send him back to the Holy Land of Mariajoy. Lei Te stepped down heavily, pressing Saint Rosward's face against the deck. After all, if this guy dies, the celestial dragons might bury many innocent civilians with him or even destroy a country out of venting their anger. Saint Rosward made a humming sound, but Lei Te's power was too great and he couldn't even lift his head. Captain Buggy, although there are some things I haven't said, your actions will indeed implicate many innocent people. Fujitora said. So even if this guy continues to do evil and hurt innocent people after he returns, you still have to rescue him for the safety of more people. Turning a blind eye to the evil deeds of those in high positions, letting a few people sacrifice and fall into hell in exchange for the safety of more people, is this the way of justice, Lord Fujitora? Lei Te asked. Fujitora was silent for a while, then nodded slowly. Yes, I am incompetent and can only maintain this little bit of justice. Then let's play a game, Lord Fujitora. Since we have to sacrifice, why not start with you? Kill all the subordinates on your ship, and I will return the Saint of Roswald to you. Lei Te said. Fujitora raised his head suddenly, substantial pressure emanating from his body, the power of the gravity fruit dissipating uncontrollably. The calm sea suddenly became turbulent. Lei Te's words caused a huge stir. In the office of Marshal Akainu at Marineford, Marine headquarters, a force of fire erupted and the entire office turned into a lava hell. Marine Marshal Akainu walked out of the office with a gloomy face, but a short figure stopped him. It was the Vice Admiral Crane of the headquarters. Sakazuki, where are you going? I'm going to kill that guy. Akainu could no longer suppress his murderous intent. Ever since Fisher Tiger caused trouble in the Holy Land, the Marine Marshal cannot leave Marineford easily. This is the rule, Sakazuki. Crane said, the safety of the Holy Land Mariajoy is more important than anything else. There are also Sengoku and Garp here. Do you think Celestial Dragons will still trust Garp? The one who kidnapped Celestial Dragons this time was the Revolutionary Army led by Garp's son. Crane said sarcastically, what are you worried about, Marshal Sakazuki? You should know Fujitora's character. He wouldn't do that. The people who stab you the hardest are always your own people, right? He took out a Den Den Mushi, adjusted it, and Lei Te's voice came from it. Sacrificing a few Marines in exchange for the safety of Celestial Dragons is such a good deal, Fujitora. Isn't this in line with your justice? Besides, this isn't the first time Marine has done something like this. Former Admiral Blackarm Zephyr, his family and subordinates were killed by the pirates, but he watched helplessly as you recruited the pirates who killed his subordinates as 7 warlords of the sea. Aren't you very skilled at doing this kind of thing? That's why I'm going to abolish the 7 warlords of the sea system. Fujitora said angrily, Marine and pirates cannot be mixed together. But Blackarm Zephyr died at the hands of your own people in the end. What a irony. The teacher who avenged his students died at the hands of the students he taught so carefully. Lei Te said. Zephyr chose the wrong path because of his paranoia. Fujitora said slowly, we also tried to persuade him to let go of his worries. Let it go. Lei Te laughed. His family was killed, his students were killed, and you let him work with his enemies and then persuade him to let it go. If I were Zephyr, I would also want to destroy this G world. If what happened to Zephyr happened to you, what would you choose? What do you mean? Fujitora tightened his grip on the knife handle. The choice is yours. Killing the subordinates who have been with me day and night, and sending the Celestial Dragons back, is the method with the least sacrifice. Lord Fujitora, can you carry out your insignificant justice? Chapter 7 Why don't you just die? On that life, the Marines focused their attention on Fujitora. Fujitora's observation haki could sense their fear and anxiety. Damn it. If the ones caught weren't Celestial Dragons, there wouldn't be any need to go through all this trouble. But Fujitora knew that in the eyes of the world government, the lives of this ship of Marines were not as important as a hair of the Celestial Dragons. Captain Buggy, can you please sacrifice my life instead? Fujitora said with difficulty. No, if that's the case, what's the point of this game? Don't worry, don't feel guilty. Even if you kill them, there will be colleagues who will come to persuade you to let go of your worries, just like Zephyr. Lei Te said sarcastically. Fujitora wanted to say something else, but Lucci got there first and stood in front. Buggy the Clown, if you kill all of Fujitora's men, will you keep your promise? The CP0 agents appeared and stood behind Lucci. Lucci, how dare you? Fujitora was furious and drew out his long sword with armament haki attached to the sword. The safety of St. Roswald must not be compromised. This is the order of the 5 elders. Lucci said coldly, ignoring Fujitora's long sword. Are you going to do it yourself? Lei Te asked with interest. Yes, just as you said, this is the method with the least sacrifice. Lucci's men have already taken out their weapons. No, Lei Te said bluntly. Why? Wouldn't the result be the same for you? How can they be the same? Fujitora is a good man, at least he has justice. You guys are just a bunch of rats in the gutter. Lei Te said disdainfully. We uphold dark justice, Lucci said, no different from Fujitora. You mean the dark justice that subverts the country's regime, captures slaves for celestial dragons, and kidnaps children. How can you say these words without blinking? There was an uproar in the places in the world that could see the live broadcast, and Morgans was so excited that he almost fainted. That's it, expose the information, such as Black Arm Zephyr and CP0, tell us everything you know. That's nonsense. What evidence do you have? This is a live broadcast now, and even if he did it, Lucci doesn't dare to admit it. Why should I produce evidence? I'm just a pirate, not a judge. Lei Te said. Then you feel free to slander us. Please. Lei Te kicked Rosward Saint on the ground. The whole world knows what celestial dragons are. Do you still need me to slander them? In Sengoku's room, Garp asked seriously, Sengoku, did CP0 really kidnap children? Sengoku remained silent. As a former Marine Admiral, he knew some secrets that Garp could not access. Buggy is right, this is AF****** ed up world. Garp cursed. The five elders are such a bunch of idiots. How could they agree to such an outrageous request for a live broadcast? Sengoku sighed. In a short period of time, Buggy caused more damage to Marine than Summit War. The Summit War Marines suffered heavy casualties, but they defeated the strongest man in the world and won the final victory, and their cohesion was greatly improved. Are they the celestial dragons that Buggy is stepping on? Why didn't I realize that there was such a scary guy on Roger's ship? Celestial dragons are the gods who created this world. Without celestial dragons, there would be no world as it is today. Gods have demands, so humans should offer everything they have. Lucci said coldly, this is justice. Well, for the sake of your god, you should sacrifice your lives first. Lei Te said indifferently. What do you mean? Luffy suddenly had a bad feeling. Seeing you bunch of rubbish makes me feel bad. Just commit suicide, Lei Te said. According to the villain's script, I now have a hostage. No, to you, it's a divine hostage, in my hands, so of course I have to threaten you. Are you kidding me? How could such a thing be possible? As Lucci was speaking, he found that Lei Te had drawn his sword and cut off another finger of Saint Rosward. There are still 8 fingers left. There are 8 of you in CP0. Lei Te counted them. It's time to show your loyalty. If anyone doesn't commit suicide, I will cut off one of his fingers. If all 8 of you don't commit suicide, your god, Saint Rosward, will turn into Doraemon. No one understood Lei Te's joke, but everyone understood what he meant. You promised in front of the whole world that you would release Rosward Saint after the Joker game was completed. Are you going to go back on your word now? Cold sweat streamed down Lucci's face. He had never seen such a madman who did not play by the rules. The key is that he still holds an ace in his hand. Seeing that Lucci did not respond for a long time, Lei Te swung his knife and cut off another finger of Saint Rosward. Congratulations, one of you is lucky enough not to die, Lei Te said. MD, he's a pirate and does what bad guys do, so why can't I feel any hostility towards him? In the hall where the middle-level Marines gathered, someone said something in a muffled voice. This is because the ones being tortured are celestial dragons. The Marine middle managers all understood it, but no one dared to say it out loud. If this continues, the Buggy Pirates will receive a buster call, said Smoker. Definitely, even if Marshal Sakazuki doesn't sign it, Spandine and Spandam will not miss the opportunity to please celestial dragons and will actively promote this matter. Momonosuke said. There was silence in the hall again. Half a day later, someone finally spoke. I don't think we need to wait for buster call. The Buggy Pirates seem to be the weakest among the 4 emperors. If it weren't for the Revolutionary Army on his ship, Admiral Fujitora alone could handle them. So, Celestial Dragons is Buggy's last amulet. But I don't think Buggy cares about this amulet at all. On the screen, Buggy raised the knife again. Wait a minute, Lucci began, I need to ask for instructions. He took out Den Den Mushi and contacted the 5 elders. After a while, Lucci lifted up the Den Den Mushi. Buggy the clown. Den Den Mushi said, "You have committed an unforgivable sin. So much nonsense." Lei Te swung his knife down. 6. You arrogant fellow. 5. Your entire pirates group will be subjected to the most brutal revenge. 4. You. 3. Stop. 2. What can we discuss? 1. Damn 5 elders, are you here to harm me? Saint Rosward finally couldn't bear it anymore and cursed while enduring the severe pain. And you, why don't you just die quickly? Saint Rosward aimed at CP0 again. You are just a bunch of lowly dogs, you actually hurt your master. He only had one thumb left on each of his hands. Chapter 8 The beginning of a new era. Saint Rosvar's voice spread all over the world. What a stupid guy, Akainu said disdainfully after hearing the voice in Den Den Mushi. But if Buggy really wants to let him go, CP0 will really kill all the Marines on Fujitora's ship. Crane said, it's really sad. In the eyes of celestial dragons, CP0 is their dog, so are Marines. It's different. Marines should uphold absolute justice. Akainu said in a deep voice. That's why the 5 elders are so critical of you right now. So what? As long as first I'm the Marine Marshal, I have the final say in Marine affairs. Marines can sacrifice everything for justice, but not for stupid celestial dragons. Crane glanced at Akainu, then turned away. I didn't expect that underneath the fiery fruit was a cold heart. I wish Sengoku had been as decisive as you. He was good at everything except being cruel enough. Vice Admiral Crane, where are you going? Akainu asked. Go find a place where you can watch the live broadcast. I'm somewhat interested in hearing the celestial dragons screaming so miserably. Crane waved his hand. Since you trust Fujitora, you can continue to stay at the headquarters. Akainu was silent for a moment. Can you please leave the Den Den Mushi behind? He was also curious about what would happen next, but was embarrassed to go somewhere else to watch the live broadcast. Tsuru left Den Den Mushi to Akainu and went to Sengoku's room. As expected, Garp was also here, and the two of them were staring at the screen intently. He found that Saint Rosward was still pointing at CP0 and cursing, and the clown Buggy did not stop him. It's just that Saint Rosward only has one thumbs up. If you don't listen to the sound, it seems like he is praising CP0, which is full of funny feelings. Quote. Did you convince Sakazuki? Sengoku asked. Sakazuki is not stupid, he figured it out later. The so-called clown game is just Buggy's bad taste. He never intended to let Saint Rosward go from the beginning. Crane said. Not only them, many people in the world have also seen it. Buggy tortured Saint Rosward like this, clearly intending to kill him. This crazy guy, does he want to execute celestial dragons in front of the whole world? Just like before, Sengoku suddenly remembered something and stood up in horror. Just like the public execution of Roger in Logue Town. Garp said in a deep voice. Wait, today's date, is the date when Roger was publicly executed. Garp suddenly remembered something. This kid. Is this guy going to publicly execute the celestial dragons today in honor of his captain? Sengoku took off his glasses. He's even willing to make the world his enemy. Even if he's on the opposite side, I have to admire his courage. Roger must be very proud to have a crew like this, said Garp. Kamabaka Kingdom, headquarters of the Revolutionary Army. Why are you going to pick up Little Sabo and the others? Asked Emporio Ivankov, the S*******E King. I don't think Little Sabo and the others are in any danger right now. Monkey D. Dragon, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, has already put on his black robe. A major event that will shock the world is about to happen. I'm worried that something might happen to Sabo and the others. So many years have passed, and Long still remembers the time he met Buggy in Logue Town. He was the only one crying at the execution scene, fearing that others would not know that he had a relationship with Roger. Now, such guys have become 4 emperors. And he is doing something earth-shattering. Do you want to take the new era by storm, Buggy? A strong wind suddenly arose, and the dragon's figure was blown away by the wind. In the dark basement, Crocodile and his most loyal subordinate Mr. 1 Daz Bonus were also watching the live broadcast. Mr. 3 is doing very well now, Crocodile said with emotion as he looked at Mr. 3 behind Buggy. You should call him the Crown Vice, Daz said seriously. Ha 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 ha, I didn't expect that my Baroque studio is so full of talented people. Crocodile laughed wildly. My subordinates are all doing better than me. Crocodile stood up. Come on, Daz, let's join in the fun. What do you want to do, boss? Asked Daz. Daz, you know, more than 20 years ago today, I witnessed Roger's execution. It's really nostalgic. Many of the audience members under the execution platform at that time stood at the top of the world. Roger started the era of the great pirates. Today may be the beginning of a new era. Such scenes must be seen in person. Ha 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 ha, why can't I think of such a good idea? Although Blackbeard was laughing, he felt a little sour inside. I actually let that clown get there first. Now the whole world is watching Buggy the Clown's every move. After today, he will become the most famous pirates. Because no one thought that today is the anniversary of the death of Pirates King Roger. Lafitte said. Speed up and see if we still have time. Maybe we guessed wrong and Buggy is just fooling around. Blackbeard said. It's too late, Captain. The Morgans have already discovered this. Lafitte pointed to the screen. In the lower right corner of the screen, there was a newspaper. It was the newspaper where Roger was executed. Buggy must have chosen this day on purpose. In a huge hall, countless news birds are working hard. President, 5 elders called and asked us to stop the live broadcast immediately. A news bird rushed in. FK the 5 elders, the celestial dragons might be executed today. What's the point of my career if I miss this news? Morgans cursed. Hurry up. Move all the live broadcast equipment to a hidden place. Morgans remembered something and hurriedly urged his men, activate all the backup equipment. Even if the world government takes action, the live broadcast cannot be interrupted. You should be ready to print more newspapers at any time. This kind of news must be delivered to all parts of the world as soon as possible. Mr. Buggy, since you asked us to broadcast live, Big News Morgans, will never let you down. Blow up the world, Mr. Buggy. Lucci, who was scolded by Saint Rosward and couldn't even raise his head, suddenly received the news and his aura changed. I'm sorry, Saint Roswald. Lucci looked at the celestial dragons, whom he regarded as gods. You are so noble, you cannot die at the hands of lowly pirates. What? Why should I die? Saint Rosward looked confused. That clown never wanted to let you go from the beginning. He wanted to use your noble life to commemorate the traitor Roger. Am I right, Buggy the Clown? Lucci said coldly. What? Lei Te looked confused. How was he related to Roger again? Chapter 9. The world is focusing here. Lei Te really wanted to kill Rosward Saint. With celestial dragons, if you kill them 9 times out of 10, you'll miss a lot of bad guys. Although killing the celestial dragons would be very troublesome, Lei Te was confident that he could leave safely. His men are not strong, but there are still revolutionary troops on board. Especially the commander of the Revolutionary Armies, Eastern Army, Bello Betty, whose fruit of encouragement has the greatest impact on the Buggy Pirates. You have to know that most of the crew members of Buggy Pirates are die-hard fans of Buggy, the kind that watch Buggy through a built-in filter. Together with Sabo and the others, the Buggy Pirates will have no problem dealing with Fujitora and CP0. But how does killing celestial dragons involve Roger? Fortunately, Lucci gave a direct answer. Buggy the Clown, you colluded with the Revolutionary Army, kidnapped the celestial dragons, and chose today to broadcast it live to the whole world, just to take revenge on the world government, right? More than 20 years ago today, the world government executed the pirates King Roger. So, you have disguised yourself as a clown over the years, deceived everyone, and captured Saint Rosward with great deliberate efforts. How could you let him go so easily? He wanted to kill you from the beginning, Saint Rosward. In order to maintain the glory of celestial dragons, CP0, don't worry about the safety of Saint Rosward anymore, kill the clown Buggy. Lucci gave the order. CP0 agents rushed towards Lei Te. Flame Dragon Claw Fist, Flame Dragon King. The blazing flames blocked Lei Te's way. Captain Buggy, no wonder you were able to save us. It turns out that you had planned this all along. Sabo showed up. Leave these CP0s to our revolutionary army. No one will disturb you until we fall. Captain Buggy, so that's how it is. I understand. Mr. 3 at the back burst into tears. Don't worry, I've been to Logue Town and seen what the execution platform looks like. Candle execution platform. Mr. 3 slapped the deck, and a wax execution platform appeared on the deck. What did you misunderstand, and what did you understand? But the Buggy Pirates crew is already getting excited. That execution platform is exactly the same as the one in Logue Town. Could it be? Is Captain Buggy going to publicly execute celestial dragons there? Those are celestial dragons. Even their injuries nearly caused a buster call. Captain Buggy is actually going to publicly execute them. Captain Buggy is really. It's so great. The Buggy Pirates crew cheered excitedly. Bello Betty looked at them in confusion. Although they did not activate the ability of the fruit, these crew members automatically entered a state of encouragement. Is this the personality charm of the 4 emperors? So terrifying. You are kidding, Captain Buggy. Saint Rosward realized that something was wrong and stammered, I can pay the ransom, or do you like slaves? I have many captain slaves. You will definitely be interested. I also know a lot of secrets, the secrets of celestial dragons, as long as you don't kill me. Saint Rosward. Lucci, who was stopped by Sabo, looked livid and shouted, think about Saint Charlos and Pallas Shalulia, do you want to kill them? Saint Rosward turned pale and wailed loudly, but I don't want to die. Lei Te was speechless. Do you think you were Robin? You look like this and wailing is disgusting. Fujitora, why didn't you take action? Lucci stared at Fujitora angrily. I have not received any orders from the marshal. Fujitora said calmly, no matter from the perspective of duty or personal opinion, I don't want to help you. Captain Buggy is right. You are just a bunch of rats in the gutter. How dare you ask me for help? Akainu, who was far away at the marine headquarters, burned the Den Den Mushi in his hand into ashes. Now, the 5 elders won't be able to contact me for a while. With this office that looks like a lava hell, there's no need to think of any reason. Celestial dragons are the kind that deserve as many deaths as possible. After this beating, they might behave themselves. Captain Buggy, I can satisfy you with whatever you want. Saint Rosward said, I only ask you to spare my life. The secret of celestial dragons. Lei Te was still very interested in this. This won't work. If I tell anyone about it, my family will disappear. Saint Rosward, who received Lucci's warning, no longer dared to say anything. Then be more positive. The atmosphere has been set up here. If we don't kill some celestial dragons to liven up the atmosphere, everyone will be dissatisfied. Lei Te grabbed him and dragged him slowly to the execution platform. A foul smell came, and Lei Te couldn't help but frown. Don't be so desperate. I actually wanted to kill you, but I didn't expect that now there is a sense of ritual. On the bright side, you actually made a profit. We are all dead, so what's the point of losing or gaining anything? Saint Rosward thought this guy was a psychopath, he really dared to kill celestial dragons. When he reached the execution platform, Saint Rosward collapsed to the ground. Mr. 3 was smart. He wrapped Saint Rosward with wax and made him kneel down, leaving only his head outside. Newsbird quickly stepped forward and gave a shot. This is the first time in 1,000 years that celestial dragons have appeared in public in such a miserable state. The whole world began to boil, and countless people gathered at the live broadcast site to watch this scene. President Morgan's, the number of viewers has surpassed Summit War. This time it really made a sensation around the world. Ah, where are you going? The newsbird that came to announce the good news found the Morgans packing their luggage. I'll stay out of the spotlight and keep in touch with you secretly from now on. Morgans knew that he had offended the world government this time. But it's so worth it. Ordinary people don't care about the replacement of 4 emperors because the 4 emperors are too far away from them. But celestial dragon's heavenly gold concerns everyone. After this time, I am truly the news king. Captain Buggy, would you like to say a few words? On the execution platform, Mr. 3 reminded in a low voice. Do I still need to give a speech? I'm not very good at this. Lei Te was a little embarrassed. At least say something, like Captain Roger, the king of pirates. His words opened up an era. Well, I do have something to say. Lei Te stepped forward, ready to begin his speech to the world. What is this guy going to say? He's not trying to put on a clown show. Blackbeard watched the scene and hoped from the bottom of his heart that Buggy would make a big fool of himself. Buggy, what do you want to do? Shanks looked at the familiar execution platform, and his thoughts seemed to go back to the past. Ah, come to think of it, Buggy almost executed me. In the Wano Kuni banquet hall, Luffy suddenly remembered something. I thought I was dead at that time. For a moment, almost the whole world's attention was focused on that man. Chapter 10. There is no way forward for the king, so he has to create his own path. Wealth, power, status, the man who once had everything in the world, my captain, Pirates King Galdi. Roger, left these words before his death, which attracted people all over the world to the sea and opened the era of great navigation. Since then, countless people have regarded the Pirates King as their dream. But how many people really want to conquer the Grand Line and find the final island, Raftel? There are many people who talk about their dream of becoming the Pirates King, but they swing their swords at weaker people. Yes, pirates are not good people. They are cunning, cruel, greedy and evil. But I feel sick when I see them bullying the defenseless civilians and talking about their dreams without any shame. The sea is a stage for the strong, not a paradise for you rubbish. You rubbish who don't have the courage to challenge the powerful, just go back and be a turtle. If I meet you on the sea, I will let you know what cruelty is. Lei Te's words spread all over the world. On a small island, a group of pirates who had just looted civilians were also watching the live broadcast. Boss, is Buggy the Clown talking about us? Asked a crew member. Damn, so what if it's us? Buggy the Clown can't even protect himself. How can he care about us? The captain of the pirates cursed. Instead of going through the trouble of searching for the final island, Raftel, why not burn, kill and loot now? Lei Te's speech continues. Captain Roger used his life to open a new era. What was it for? Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Because after walking the Grand Line, we found that this is ed up world, like a stagnant pool of water. The stupid pig-like celestial dragons are high above, calling themselves gods. Each island governs itself, and some are even isolated from the outside world, dreaming of a single dynasty that will last forever. The son of a ruler is still a ruler, the son of a general is still a general, a person's status is determined by bloodline. This world is so boring. If this is the case, why not stir up some waves in this stagnant water and expose everything to the world? You will continue to obey the rule of celestial dragons and let your descendants be slaughtered by them. Or you will risk your life, set sail, and end this old world with swords. This is the choice Captain Roger gives you. But things are different from what Captain Roger expected. This ed up world hasn't changed much. Foolish rulers are made fun of by their enemies, but are crowned as heroes. Truly loyal men die on the battlefield, while those who deceive the world and steal reputations are praised as heroes. In a classroom on Wano Island, the newly appointed teacher is teaching the students. The first thing we are going to talk about is the story of Wano Kuni's greatest general and the most powerful swordsman, His Highness Oden. Teacher, since His Highness Oden was the greatest general, why did my parents still starve to death? Asked a little girl. That was an evil deed done by Kaido. It has nothing to do with the hero Oden. That is not important. I will continue to tell the story of the hero Oden and the peerless resourceful General Kinemon. In the banquet hall, Yamato slammed the table and said, the real hero can only be Oden. Who is that stupid ruler? I want to expose his true face. Cat Viper and Inuarashi looked at each other and muttered, Buggy, what do you mean? Ah, why did everyone stop and listen while eating meat? Luffy asked curiously. Marco sighed, suddenly regretting coming to Wano Kuni. So I don't want to endure it anymore, Lei Te said. I'm not happy with this ed up world, so I'm going to overturn it. My fellow pirates, your captain will not only become the king of pirates, but also be the enemy of this world. Are you afraid? Lei Te asked loudly. The crew of the Buggy Pirates suddenly cheered. Captain Buggy, are you finally going to realize your ambition? Lead us to rip the world hard, Captain Buggy. We will always follow your footsteps. The Pirates King I'm talking about is not a game of pirates. Blood, killing, endless fighting, you may even lose your life easily. Are you ready? Lei Te asked. Of course, the crew shouted. Well, I will carry your dreams on my shoulders. Follow me and embark on the road to becoming the king. There is no way forward for the king, so you have to create your own path. The Buggy Pirates declare war on the celestial dragons and the world. Let me lead you to open up a new era. Lei Te felt a force gathering inside him. His sword slashed out, and in front of the whole world's attention, Saint Rosward's head flew out and fell on the deck. Then a force of energy rose up into the sky, releasing a powerful pressure to the surroundings with Lei Te as the center. Black lightning-shaped sparks appeared out of thin air, and powerful air waves blew away the clouds. Some weak ones were knocked unconscious. And the strong ones also felt an indescribable pressure. Fujitora gripped the hilt of the knife tightly. What a powerful conqueror's haki. He was the first person he had ever seen in his life. Is this your hidden strength? Buggy. But since he has the courage to fight against the world, it is only natural that he has such a conqueror's haki. There was silence for a few seconds, and then suppressed cheers broke out from all over the world. The high and mighty celestial dragons were killed during the live broadcast. Some people couldn't help but shed unstoppable tears. They were the ones who had been persecuted by the celestial dragons. Let's salute the birth of the king. Fire. Mr. 3 is the most sober one. Since Captain Buggy has killed the celestial dragons, he has to face the endless pursuit of the world government. Now the first task is to break out. On the Baikudorpu, cannons suddenly roared. Open fire and fight back, Fujitora ordered his marines. Today we are witnessing history. What a shame, Captain Buggy. I know how dark this world is, and it is a blessing that I can't see anything, because there are too many dirty and despicable people in the world that are hard to bear to look at. The new era is destined to be forged with countless blood, and I, who am weak, can only maintain that insignificant justice. If you want to become the new king, convince me with your strength, Captain Buggy. Meteorites falling from the sky. The power of the heavy fruit was activated, and a meteorite with a diameter of several hundred meters fell from the sky, hitting the Baikudopu with flames. Captain Buggy, dodge quickly. Mr. 3 yelled on the side. No need. Lei Te looked at the meteorites falling from the sky and began to activate the ability of Chop Chop Fruit. If you have to dodge even this, how can I lead you into a new era? Destroy evil and reveal righteousness. Absolute heaven. After the meteorite came within 200 meters of the Baikudoku, it was broken into particles by an invisible force. That move seems to be used like this. Lei Te looked through Buggy's memories and found the memory of Roger teaching Buggy. The power of Conqueror's haki wrapped around the sword, and dense black sparks appeared on it. This move is. Shanks, who was watching the live broadcast, widened his eyes. God avoid. Chapter 11 Buggy the Clown, so terrible. The black sword energy rushed towards Fujitora's warship. Gravity Blade Tiger. Fujitora accumulated gravity on the sword and swung it out, while at the same time releasing a huge lateral gravity in the trajectory of the sword, trying to block the attack of the sword energy. But the Pirates King Roger's moves were not that simple. Conqueror's entangled force passed through the purple gravity wall and hit Fujitora's warship. The warship immediately began to break apart, and Fujitora could only use the power of the heavy fruit to support the marine on the warship. The live broadcast image also began to blur, and after shaking a few times, it finally disappeared. The world government finally found the Morgans. Laren destroyed most of the terminals of the live broadcast Den Mushi. But the wily Morgans had already fled and were preparing to sell out the newspapers tomorrow. That's Roger's move. I didn't expect Buggy would know it too. In Sengoku's room, Garp stuffed the last senbei into his mouth, then stood up and prepared to leave. Where are you going? Sengoku asked. Go out to sea, find Edward Weeble's whereabouts, and then, kill him. Garp clenched his fists. Buggy is right. Zephyr must be disappointed with this G world. That's why he never killed Admiral and then did what he did later. Garp remembers that he was only 14 years old when he first met Zephyr. I want to be a hero. The boy often said this. The cruel reality wiped out a man's dream and turned a hero into a villain, but at least, he had to pay tribute to him at the cost of his enemy's life. As the Vice Admiral of the headquarters, how can you act on your own without the order of the Marshal? Sengoku said. Garp scratched his ears and said nonchalantly, let Sakazuki demote me. I don't care about positions anyway. I can't let you do whatever you want. Tsuru, tell Sakazuki that I have to keep an eye on this guy Garp and not let him do whatever he wants. Sengoku stood up and followed Garp. Another monster appeared in the sea. I saw Roger's shadow in him just now. I'm retired anyway, so let Sakazuki worry about it. But the Marines are under pressure right now, so I guess the world government will have to mobilize their own secret forces. Those rats hiding in the shadows. Although they are not good people, it is a bit too much to say so. The voices of two people were heard in the corridor. He in the room shook his head helplessly and walked towards the office of Marine Marshal. Entering the destroyed office, Tsuru saw Akainu holding a silver Den Mushi in his hand. Eradicate the Buggy Pirates without a single one left alive. The voice of the 5 elders came from the silver Den Mushi. You go there yourself. Wait a minute, Sengoku and Garp just went out to sea. Are you sure you want Marshal Sakazuki to go there in person? Then the Marine headquarters will not have the highest combat power. Crane spoke up. The silver Den Mushi showed a shocked expression. Forget about Garp, but why did Sengoku also join in the fun? Then you have to ask them. He said expressionlessly. A bunch of bastards. The silver Den Mushi cursed. Sakazuki, don't leave the Marine headquarters for the time being. Protecting the safety of the Holy Land Mariajoy is more important. Got it. Akainu hung up the silver Den Mushi with a cold face. Buster call, the 5 elders are fast enough, Crane said. The silver Den Mushi can only receive the signal from the gold Den Mushi, and is also the symbol of Buster call. After all, the death of a celestial dragon is a rare event that only happens once in 1,000 years. However, Akainu was clearly not interested in the death of celestial dragons, but was angry that Garp left without saying goodbye. Garp, that B************** D, ran away without my order. You can just fire him from the Marine, he doesn't care anyway, Crane said. Are you kidding? With his prestige in the Marine, if he is fired, the Marine will definitely be shaken. The world is undergoing unprecedented changes now, and the Marine cannot suffer any more unnecessary losses. Akainu said irritably. Then you should tolerate his willfulness. After all, he is going to catch the pirates, not to do anything else. Crane said, but do you really want to go out and catch Buggy the Clown? That guy is different from the other 4 emperors. Akainu said in a deep voice. Blackbeard only cares about his own interests. He is a beast driven by ambition. He may become the overlord of the sea, but he will never be the king. Red Hair's purpose is unknown. He seems to be trying to maintain the balance of power at sea. As for Straw Hat Luffy, although he was the cause of many things, like Buggy the Clown said, he was just playing a game of pirates. Only Buggy the Clown, he is the most unpredictable guy to me. Like everyone else, I once thought he was just a lucky clown who became the 7 warlords of the sea by chance, and then happened to become the 4 emperors. Akainu paused. Until today, he simply dropped all his disguises. A crew member of Pirates King Roger, a man who impressed Whitebeard, who has been playing the clown for more than 20 years, what is his purpose? At the beginning, Whitebeard seemed to want to join forces with him. Could it be that Whitebeard knew the true strength of Buggy the Clown at that time? He recalled something. That should be the case. Akainu said, but for some reason, Buggy the Clown did not agree to Whitebeard's request. Otherwise, judging by the strength Buggy the Clown showed today, the situation in the Summit War would have been directly reversed. Akainu recalled with a sense of fear. Marine unknowingly experienced a life-and-death crisis. Whitebeard, Buggy the Clown, and Red Hair joined forces, and Marine was completely unable to cope with it at that time. So, listing him as one of the 4 emperors this time can be considered as a coincidence that broke his plan and made him reveal his true identity in advance. He said, otherwise, no one knows how long he will hide. That's right. He opened Buggy Express under the name of 7 Warlords of the Sea. He recruited many good people and made a lot of money. This was all legal. This man deceived everyone in the world with his superb acting skills. Akainu broke out in a cold sweat. Buggy the Clown, we are the ones who are deceived and are the clowns. Among the 4 emperors, this gloomy guy is the most terrifying. After becoming the 4 emperors, he publicly executed the celestial dragons in front of the whole world. He seemed to have become the mortal enemy of the world government, but in fact, I don't know how many people's favor he won. Crane analyzed the current situation. For thousands of years, celestial dragons have done countless evil things. They have enemies all over the world. These people suppress their hatred, like a volcano. And Buggy the Clown has set off this volcano. Countless enemies of celestial dragons will regard him as an idol and join his pirates group. Just by killing a celestial dragon, he gained countless loyal crew members. Has Buggy the Clown already calculated this? Akainu and Crane looked at each other. Buggy the Clown was so scary. Chapter 12 The Strongest on the Sea. Fire our shells as well. On the sea, Pirates Queen Boa Hancock, who had watched the live broadcast, stood up and said, then turn and move towards the direction of the Buggy Pirates. Captain Hancock, we have nothing to do with Buggy. Why should we get involved in such an incident? It's very dangerous there. The crew members were puzzled. Hancock looked at the subordinates of the Kingdom of Women. They had already left the 9-Snake Island and were dealing with the Marines' encirclement at sea. Although my orders are absolute, I will make an exception this time and tell you the reason. Hancock took off his clothes, exposing his back. There was a huge mark on the jade white back. This is the celestial dragon's sky dragon hoof. It is my past that I cannot bear to look back on, and it is also a secret that I want to cover up for the rest of my life. Hancock exposed his biggest secret to his men, allowing them to see the mark that had given her countless nightmares. Captain. All the crew members were shocked except Boa Sandersonia and Boa Marigold, who knew the secret. I used to be a slave of celestial dragons. Originally, I didn't want to tell this secret because it is a great shame for me. Hancock's voice trembled a little. But today, Captain Buggy showed me a new path, a path I had never thought of. Shame should be paid with blood. Hancock shouted, I am Boa Hancock, the Queen of Pirates. I will use the blood of celestial dragons to cleanse this mark of shame. I will join the Buggy Pirates and fight against the celestial dragons together. You can choose to leave and return to 9-Snake Island. Marine will not trouble that place anymore. Buggy, who killed celestial dragons, would become the biggest criminal in the world and the target of the world government's full efforts to strangle him. Marine would no longer have the time to take care of other things. What are you talking about, Captain? The celestial dragons are at fault, not you. Contrary to Hancock's expectations, his crew members did not care about the hoof of the celestial dragon, but were angry about the evil deeds done by the celestial dragons. Master Hancock led us to join the Buggy Pirates, find the captain's enemy, and kill him. I didn't expect Lord Hancock to have such a past. It's really hard for him. I wish I could kill those celestial dragons right now. In that case, Hancock smiled and said, then please tolerate my willfulness for the last time. The 9 Snakes Pirates, let's go. The roar of cannons rang out, and the 2 ships carrying the giant Lion Majesty changed direction. As Crane had predicted, Buggy set off a volcano of hatred, and around the world, some people who were harmed by the celestial dragons found new guidance. It turns out that celestial dragons can be killed. It's like Captain Buggy said, risk your life, repay blood with blood, and overturn the world with swords. On the small island, the pirates were about to leave after looting, but they found their way blocked by a small boat. He had short black hair, sharp yellow eyes like an eagle, a black hat, and a burgundy-patterned shirt. The most eye-catching thing was the giant long sword he carried on his back. The 12 skills of the Supreme Great Sword, Black Sword Knight. The pirate's captain naturally recognized the former 7 warlords of the sea. "Mahawk, why are you stopping us?" "Nothing, I just suddenly feel that you are a bit of an eyesore." Hawkeye said lightly, "You bunch of rubbish have tainted this ocean." Hawkeye drew out the black knife and slashed it casually. A giant green sword energy that was bigger than the ship flew out and split the pirate's ship in front of him into pieces. The violent sword energy tore the pirates apart at the same time, and waves of blood appeared on the sea surface. Hawkeye retracted the Black Blade Knight, and the boat automatically began to sail in one direction. Buggy the Clown. Hawkeye recalled the battle at Summit War. Although he didn't take it seriously, he did perfectly dodge all his attacks at that time. At the time, he thought his observation haki was more powerful, and with the ability of the chop fruit, he didn't take the incident seriously. Now it seems that Buggy, who can use divine evasion, is actually an expert in swordsmanship. The guy even fooled Shanks. "Shanks, you staked your arm on a new era, but now it's Buggy the Clown who's ushering in that new era. What exactly is Roger's legacy? Who between you two is the successor to Roger's legacy? But these are not important. Since Marine doesn't want me to live a peaceful life, I'll just fulfill their wishes. I don't know if Buggy has any wine. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have any. His swordsmanship is enough." The sword of Zebek had stopped moving, and Blackbeard sat on the throne, tapping his fingers on the armrests, deep in thought. Buggy the Clown's strength was somewhat beyond his expectations. Blackbeard had seen Roger's divine evasion, and at that time, Roger was evenly matched with the peak Whitebeard. Unexpectedly, divine avoidance appeared again, and it was cast by the clown Buggy. This guy is hiding very deeply. When the Roger pirates and the Whitebeard pirates fought, Blackbeard felt that a pair of eyes were always watching him. "Did you notice my abnormality at that time? You are a sharp guy. Captain, shall we continue on?" Lafitte asked. "No, the price offered by the 5 elders is too low." Blackbeard's eyes flashed with a creepy light. "Turn around and head towards the direction of Wanguo. Charlotte Linlin is missing, so let's take over her territory first. Profits are what we pursue first, thief ha 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 ha. But I think Buggy the Clown will threaten us in the future." Lafitte said, "That scary man played tricks on the whole world. He obviously has such strength, but he has been forbearing all this time. Even they just thought Buggy was just a clown seeking attention. Until Buggy shocked the world. If the Blackbeard pirates want to dominate the world, Buggy will definitely be a formidable rival. The world government will not let him go. It won't be too late for me to take action when both of them are defeated." Blackbeard made the decision. The sword of Zebek turned, but a small boat appeared in the shadows, a black shadow covering it, hiding everyone. After being discovered by the Blackbeard pirates, the boat sped up and swam away in the opposite direction. "Captain Blackbeard, it's bad, Moria escaped." On the boat, in addition to the tall Moria, there was also a pink-haired girl wearing a gothic long skirt. She was Perona, who went out to sea to look for Moria's trace. "Damn Blackbeard, I will definitely avenge Absalom." Moria looked at the sword of Zebek angrily. "Captain, the Blackbeard pirates are so powerful, how can we take revenge?" Perona said a little negatively. "Go and join Buggy. He dares to kill celestial dragons, so he certainly doesn't care about Blackbeard. With Buggy's ambition, he will definitely clash with Blackbeard in the future. That will be the time for us to take revenge." The shadow turned into a paddle and quickly took the boat away. After the live broadcast ended, the strong men on the sea gathered in one direction. Chapter 13 Development of Chop Fruit. On the battlefield, CP0 began to attack without restraint. The celestial dragons are dead, they have committed an unforgivable crime, and now they just want to catch the murderer who killed the celestial dragons. Unfortunately, the revolutionary army stopped them in front. Lucci has transformed into the human beast form of the cat fruit and launched a crazy attack on Sabo. During the break in the battle, he found that Fujitora was still rescuing Marine and not participating in the battle, and he became furious. Why bother with those useless Marines? Give them up. Don't let the clown Buggy escape, otherwise you Marines won't be able to explain to the world government. Lucci knew that if Fujitora put all his strength into the battle, he could stop the revolutionary army, and he could deal with Buggy the clown. You don't need to worry about how to explain it, Master Lucci. I will shoulder today's responsibility alone. Fujitora manipulated gravity to float some decks and carry the Marine on board. If we let Buggy the clown escape today, these bastards will be the sinners. Fujitora, think carefully, Lucci threatened. I've heard of your name, Rob Lucci. You called weakness a sin and killed 500 soldiers with your own hands. Fujitora said, it is because of people like you that I am glad that I am blind. Otherwise, seeing a disgusting fellow like you, I will not be able to help but draw my sword. If you dare to touch my men, then I will let you know how deep your sin is. He has no chance. I will take this guy's life. Lei Te's voice sounded, quickly resolve the battle. If we delay any longer, the world government's large forces will arrive. Unlike Fujitora, CP0 is a bunch of brainwashed idiots, loyal dogs of celestial dragons and world government. Lei Te doesn't want to let any of these guys go. Sorry, Boss Buggy, this guy is a bit difficult to deal with. Sabo apologized for not being able to take down Lucci. Nothing much. This guy is known as the strongest in CP9 in 800 years. He is quite capable, Lei Te said. Without mentioning anything else, at least when it comes to pretending to be cool, Lucci is better than Marine Admiral. Buggy the clown. Seeing Lei Te, Lucci's eyes immediately turned red and he entered a state of life restoration. You who committed the crime of killing God are absolutely unforgivable. 6 styles. A huge shock wave was released from Lucci's hand and hit Lei Te's chest. The magnetic field rotates 10,000 horses, Shunpo. When the 6 King's spear was about to hit Lei Te's figure disappeared instantly and appeared 10 meters away. Lei Te found Buggy's chop fruit very interesting. Within a radius of 200 meters, it is the maximum distance that Buggy can split. Within this range, Buggy can distribute its body to various places. Originally, Buggy's splitting was done by flying or catapulting, which was too slow. But since Lei Te awakened from the chop fruit, he has been dividing and manipulating cells to perform high-speed friction, generating the force for magnetic field rotation. Lei Te only needs to split off a small part of his body as the origin. Under the influence of the magnetic field, the rest of his body can appear anywhere within a radius of 200 meters, achieving an almost instantaneous effect. Life returns to paper arts Wuxen. After seeing Lei Te's speed, Lucci's body shrank dramatically, greatly increasing his speed at the expense of his attack power. Flying finger pistol pull. 10 air bullets shot out from Lucci's hand and flew towards Lei Te. But Lei Te used Shunpo to move directly behind Lucci. It's torn apart. Lei Te wanted to use the power of the fruit on Lucci, but the ability to attack inanimate objects only caused a wound to appear on Lucci's back. A force protected Lucci and prevented him from being torn into pieces. As expected, even if the fruit ability is awakened, its effect on the enemy will be reduced. If it can easily split Lucci and kill him instantly, then chop fruit is too powerful. I just don't know if it was the devil fruit or the armament hockey that blocked the split attack. Or both. Lucci has recovered and used Tempest Kick, Leopard Tail, to kick behind him, and a spiral slash like a beast's tail flew towards Lei Te. Your reaction is too slow. Lei Te's figure appeared in front of Lucci. Since we can't split Lucci directly, let's try another method. The magnetic field rotates 20,000 white thunderbolts. A bluish-white lightning shot out from Lei Te's hand and hit Lucci. Lucci activated Observation Hockey, trying to dodge the attack, but the lightning turned around and hit the wound just now. What did you do to me? Lucci didn't expect that he couldn't avoid Buggy's attack. In fact, he was even more puzzled as to why Buggy, a user of the chop fruit ability, used lightning attacks. Of course I can't tell you this. Just think of my moves as ones that cannot be dodged. Lei Te said. When he attacked Lucci just now, he had split off a tiny nail fragment which stuck to Lucci's body. After the lightning is shot out, Lei Te manipulates the nail fragments to emit the same power, and the lightning will be automatically attracted there. The magnetic field rotates 30,000 times, 5 bursts of white thunder. Lei Te split his 5 fingers into the sky, and 5 lightning bolts bombarded Lucci's body one after another. Lucci tried his best to dodge, but the lightning seemed to have eyes and kept hitting him. He could only use armament hockey to resist these attacks. Wait, these attacks are all landing in the same place, right? Lucci's mind moved, and his hands turned into cat claws. Sharp nails popped out from them and directly tore off a piece of flesh from his back. Observation hockey found a fingernail fragment in it. What do you mean I can't dodge? It's this thing that's causing trouble. Lucci sneered. You got it right. I'll give you a gift as a reward. Lei Te snapped his fingers. Critical Fission special buggy bullet. Lucci discovered that the nail fragments in his hand began to turn red, and an extremely unstable energy was brewing within it. He felt bad and wanted to throw away the nail fragments, but it was too late. A violent explosion sounded, and flames engulfed Lucci. Boss Buggy, this move is quite powerful. Sabo exclaimed beside him. He could feel the heat coming from the explosion. It's far from it. Lei Te shook his head. The current development of the fruit has not yet reached the effect of fissioning the nucleus, it just enhances the power of the explosion. Boss Buggy, aren't you being too harsh on yourself? The power is already considerable. Sabo looked at Lucci, whose body was charred black after the explosion. Even with the zone fruit, which is said to be the most resistant to damage, he was seriously injured in the explosion. Such strength is not enough to overturn the old era. Lei Te said, this guy is just a small fry. The real strong men of the world government are still in the Marines. Buggy the clown. Lucci felt greatly insulted when he heard Lei Te's words. You actually look down on me. Chapter 14 Lei Te Boy is much more useful than Joey Boy. In Lucci's opinion, as the head of CP0, he already has the strength close to that of a Marine Admiral. In terms of power, he is equal to the Marine Marshal. But he didn't expect that in the eyes of the enemy, he was actually seen as a small fry. Compared to being injured, the arrogant him could not accept such an insult. I think it's okay. His strength is still better than that of the Marine Vice Admiral. Sabo didn't expect Captain Buggy to look down on Lucci so much. Whether you are a top-notch warrior or not is not determined by your strength, but by your conviction or magnanimity. In my opinion, this is the main difference between the strong and the trash. Lei Te's words attracted everyone on the battlefield. And this guy's belief in dark justice is nothing more than a form of self-brainwashing. Lei Te said disdainfully. Don't look down on me. We also have things we want to protect with our lives. Lucci was furious. He cancelled the life return and forcibly mobilized his strength. The largest wheel, the 6 Kings Spear. What do you want to protect, celestial dragons? Or your hometown Guanao Island? Lei Te used Shunpo to dodge Lucci's attack. How do you know about Guanao Island? It should be a secret. Lucci was shocked. You engage in human trafficking from all over the world, collect talented orphans for cruel training, and cultivate agents loyal to celestial dragons and world government. Is that your hometown? Lei Te said coldly. What's even more ironic is that these orphans grow up to become accomplices in human trafficking, creating tragedy for the next generation. To regard your enemies as gods and turn innocent children into brainwashed killers, Lucci, if this is your belief, then it is really worthless. How can I respect you? Lei Te used Shunpo to flash in front of Lucci and kicked Lucci away with the power of magnetic field rotation. It's not like that. It's all the fault of you pirates. Without you burning, killing and looting, the world wouldn't be so chaotic, and there wouldn't be so many orphans. Lucci struggled to stand up, his eyes red. Our actions are righteous. Who has made this world so chaotic? Lei Te stared at Lucci. As a CP0, you know it very well. Is it the pirates who killed more people, or the people who were executed for not paying the heavenly gold. So what? Celestial dragons are the gods who created the world. Before Lucci could finish his words, he was kicked away by Lei Te again. I suspect that the world government has a kind of brainwashing fruit that turned you into what you are now. Lei Te shook his head. However, the wash fruit can wash away evil thoughts, so it would not be surprising if there were another brainwashing fruit like the hypnosis fruit. You don't know the power of celestial dragons at all. Lucci said breathlessly, all resistance is in vain. Why don't you obey the rule of celestial dragons? In that case, there won't be so many disputes in the world. I know very well that celestial dragons must have their own trump card to suppress marine. In addition to the mysterious celestial dragons leader Yim, the celestial dragons should have other powers to establish the world government 800 years ago. But so what? Lei Te said, if the enemy is strong and you don't resist, and just let yourself be slaughtered, what's the difference between you and an animal? You may succumb to strength, but there is never a lack of courageous men on this vast ocean. The celestial dragons have already driven many countries to the brink of extinction, so the revolutionary army has grown so rapidly. Sabo said, since we are all going to die, we might as well take up swords and resist. This is also the meaning of the revolutionary army's existence. Everything you do is in vain. Once you see the true power of celestial dragons, you will know what despair is. Lucci wiped the bloodline from the corner of his mouth. That is the power that can extinguish the lamp of history. Then you don't have to worry about it. It's time to get going, Rob Lucci. The power of the magnetic field gathered in Lei Te's hand. Think carefully, what meaningful things have you done in your miserable life? Magnetic field rotates 40,000 times, white thunder binding. The 5 fingers of Lei Te's right hand split and flew out, and 5 lightning bolts turned into chains, blocking the space for Lucci to move. The magnetic field rotates 50,000 times, fiery lightning howl. 5 thunderballs appeared on the 5 fingers of Lei Te's left hand, and then merged into a black thunderball. The next moment, Lei Te's left hand appeared directly in front of Lucci's chest and pressed the black thunderball against his heart. Lucci's body was paralyzed by lightning, and surprisingly he didn't feel much pain. Anything meaningful. Before his death, Lucci, who knew countless secrets of the world government, remembered a small thing. That was after he was defeated by Luffy, and Spandam, in order to absolve himself of responsibility, declared them traitors and sent Marine to hunt them down. He was seriously injured and unable to move, so his companions took him to St. Poplar on Spring Queen Street. Later, the Candy Pirates came here to plunder. They repelled the pirates, but their bloody methods frightened the civilians. Unable to stay any longer, they decided to leave, but when they were leaving the town, a little girl in the town gave them a bouquet of flowers to express her gratitude. Thank you for saving my hometown, you are heroes. I just picked this, it's worthless, but I have nothing else to express my gratitude. Khalifa happily accepted the flowers and said it felt great to be a hero. A hero, I, who was feared by so many people, was actually called a hero one day. Why did I think of this? Do I care so much about this matter? Is this the only meaning of this miserable life? His medical expenses are all wet. Those were the words Lucci heard when he was in a state of confusion. In order to collect the medical expenses, his companions worked part-time to earn money, performed, cleaned, and Kaku even worked as a children's slide. Every penny of money is stained with the sweat of my companions. This is the only meaning of my existence, at least to keep my companions alive. Life returns burning. The power of the devil fruit flows through Lucci for the last time, because this time it is his life and even his soul that is burning. Captain Buggy, please agree to my last request and let my companion Kaku join you. Let me see for you whether you can overturn this world, Lucci said with difficulty. Boss Lucci. A man with a long nose stopped and looked at Lucci in disbelief. What on earth are you talking about? Listen, Kaku, if we all die, Spandine will not let Khalifa and the others go. For the sake of your companions, please join the Buggy Pirates. Please, this is my last request. Back then, only Lucci and Kaku returned to the spy agency in order to take revenge on Spandine, while Khalifa and the others were tired of this kind of life and found a place to live in hiding. But their hatred for Spandine was too great. If there was no one who could intimidate Spandine, that guy would definitely retaliate against Khalifa and the others. But why join the Buggy Pirates? Kaku couldn't figure it out. With your IQ, you will only be sold out if you stay in CP0. Lucci spat out a mouthful of blood. Captain Buggy, Kaku's hands are much cleaner than mine, can you take him in? He slowly walked to Lei Te and whispered, I have a lot of leverage over the world government. Does Kaku know where these things are hidden? Actually, I don't care much about the world government's leverage, but Kaku is a good fighter, I can take him in. Lei Te said. Thank you, Captain Buggy. Will you be the legendary Joy Boy who changed the world? Lucci's life had come to an end. He looked at Lei Te and muttered to himself. No, I'm Lei Te Boy. Joy Boy can bring happiness to people, I can't do that. Little boy can only show his enemies his ancestors. Lei Te Boy, I hope you can change the world. After saying the last sentence, Lucci fell down. CP0 leader Lucci was killed. Chapter 15. World Government's Secret Weapon, Pacifist Improvement. Kaku, who was like a wooden man, walked forward, and Sabo tried to stop him, but was stopped by Lei Te. Kaku picked up Lucci's body. Captain Buggy, I'm going to take him back to Guanao Island and I'll keep my promise and come back later, okay? Go ahead. It doesn't matter whether you come back or not. Lei Te said, if you don't want to be a pirate, find a place to spend the rest of your life. No, I want to see with my own eyes how Captain Buggy, who defeated Boss Lucci, practices your beliefs. Kaku said. If Captain Buggy doesn't live up to his beliefs, I will challenge you, even if it means death. After saying that, Kaku used moonwalk with Lucci's body and left. The magnetic field rotates 60,000 times, lightning flash. Lei Te floated his 5 fingers up like floating cannons, and streaks of lightning hit the remaining CP0s. The lightning with the ability to damage and paralyze made CP0 miserable. Dragon Hook Tear. Sabo seized an opportunity and tore open the chest of a CP0 with his right hand covered with armament hockey. A feast for crows. Countless black crows appeared on the battlefield, and the commander of the Northern Army of the Revolutionary Army, Crow, also activated his ultimate move. The remaining CP0, Lucci and Kaku were not on the same level and were quickly defeated. Change course, let's get out of here. Lei Te ordered. From Buggy's memory, Lei Te learned that the cancellation of the 7 Warlords of the Sea title was so sudden that Buggy's couriers were still distributed around the world for military dispatch. The first thing to do is to gather the Buggy Express people and then find a place to stay. In fact, Lei Te already has a perfect place in mind, but he is not strong enough to take it there now. The Buggy Pirates and the Revolutionary Army just met by accident, and it is impossible for the Revolutionary Army to help Lei Te establish that foothold. The Baikudorpu began to turn and leave, and as it passed by Fujitora, Fujitora spoke. Mr. Buggy, could you give me a copy of the evidence about the world government that Lucci mentioned last time? You actually heard it. Your eavesdropping ability is very strong. Lei Te exclaimed. Lucci had spoken very quietly, but unexpectedly Fujitora, who was far away, still heard it. I'm sorry to make you laugh, but I'm blind and my ears are more sensitive than ordinary people, said Fujitora. Can you give a copy to our Revolutionary Army? I want to expose their evil deeds. Sabo on the side was also very interested in this. This kind of thing is useless. If it gets out now, the world government will only take more severe measures to cover up its evil deeds. Just like everyone knows that celestial dragons are no good, so what? They are still the rulers of the world. This is a world where power is respected. Without power, you are nothing. Lei Te's words made Fujitora silent. That's right, if there were no heavy fruits, who would listen to a blind man talking about reason? But history will record their evil deeds. Sabo retorted. How did that blank 100 years come about? People in this world are very good at rewriting history. Lei Te said meaningfully. It will only take a few decades for the people to completely forget the evil deeds done by the world government. By then, the criminals will be transformed into heroes and celebrated. I understand, Mr. Buggy. I will keep an eye on your news. If your behavior is no different from other pirates, I will kill you at the cost of my own life," said Fujitora. If he fights Buggy, Fujitora won't be able to protect the marine soldiers around him. Given Buggy's superior intelligence capabilities, it is estimated that none of these marine soldiers will survive. Judging from that one divine evasion, Buggy already has the strength of a marine admiral. "Goodbye, Fujitora." Lei Te waved his hand. "If you ever feel disappointed with the world government, you can come and join us. After all, the world government has never disappointed us when it comes to disappointing us." Accompanied by Lei Te's laughter, the Baikudoku sailed away from the current sea area. "Admiral Fujitora, are we just going to let them go?" his general asked Fujitora. "It's not that we let them go, but we can't do anything to them." Fujitora took out a Den Den Mushi and dialed a Kainu's number. "How are things going over there, Fujitora?" Den Den Mushi transformed into a Kainu. "CP0 was completely destroyed and my ship was damaged. Captain Buggy has left," said Fujitora. He didn't mention Kaku's departure. "You guy, don't go back to the marine headquarters yet. Go find a base nearby to borrow a ship and go to Wano-kuni to pick up Green Bull," Akainu said impatiently. CP0 was completely wiped out. Instead of coming back to explain to the five elders, it would be better to send Fujitora somewhere else. "Wano-kuni, what happened to Green Bull?" Fujitora asked. "That guy is also a worry. After arresting the leaders of Kaido's group, he went to cause trouble for the Straw Hat Boy again." Den Den Mushi's face was gloomy. "The Straw Hats can defeat Kaido and Big Mom. Their strength should not be underestimated. Green Bull is too reckless." "I understand. I will bring him back." "What about Captain Buggy?" Fujitora asked. "The guys from CP1 have already set out, bringing with them the new stuff developed by Vegapunk." Fujitora knew what it was, and he even went to Vegapunk to test its strength himself. That is a weapon that can replace the 7 warlords of the sea, and is one of the reasons why Fujitora proposed abolishing the Shichibukai system. "Good luck, Captain Buggy." Fujitora and his men flew towards the nearest marine base, preparing to meet Green Bull in Wano-kuni. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. "Captain Buggy, we spotted a marine ahead." "No, it's the world government's ship." Not long after the Baikudorp moved forward, the crew on the lookout discovered traces of the enemy. Lei Te used the ability of Chop Chop Fruit to fly into the air, and sure enough, he saw 3 warships heading towards him in the distance. The flag hoisted on the battleship was not the Marines' seagull flag, but the 5-ball flag of the world government. But the most striking thing on the battleship was the tall voices standing on the deck. A pacifist. Lei Te recognized the mass-produced robot modeled after Bartholomew Kuma. The real Bartholomew Kuma is still in the cabin of the Baikutop. "Prepare for battle." Lei Te gave the order. "The enemy is the world government's army and pacifists." "These bastards." Bonnie's eyes immediately turned red. "Boss Buggy, there are some things you may not know." Hearing that there were pacifists among the enemies, Sabo's expression became serious. "We have received some news that the strength of the pacifists has increased dramatically. According to that guy, the pacifists are now as powerful as the Shichibukai." "What did you say?" Chapter 16. Mass-produced devil fruit. As the research result of Vegapunk, the pacifist was quite amazing when it first appeared. 2 years ago, the Straw Hat Pirates had to go through a tough battle to deal with a pacifist together. But 2 years later, after becoming proficient in the use of Haki, the update speed of pacifist has fallen behind the version. 2 years later, the pacifists were killed instantly by the Straw Hat Pirates, and they didn't play much of a role during the Summit War. Now Sabo says that their strength can rival the Shichibukai, and Lei Te is a little surprised. Lei Te didn't doubt Sabo's words. The person he was talking about should be Vegapunk, the world's #1 inventor of pirates. Lei Te knew that the Revolutionary Army had been in contact with Vegapunk, and even wanted to rescue them from the Vice Admiral of the world government. It now seems that the Revolutionary Army's plan has failed. They have lost both the tyrant and their troops, but they still have a channel to contact Vegapunk. What enhancements did the pacifist get? Can robots also use hockey? Lei Te asked. Of course not. Has Boss Buggy ever heard of bloodline factors? Sabo asked tentatively. Bloodline factor, artificial devil fruit. Pacifist turned into demon fruit power. Lei Te said. It seems that Buggy knows a lot. Yes, the new generation of pacifists use the artificial meatball fruit and gained abilities similar to those of a bear. Sabo smiled bitterly. All the value in the bear has been squeezed out, which is why he is used as a mount by celestial dragons. You, the Revolutionary Army, are also responsible for his current situation. Bonnie cursed. Sabo was speechless. Can artificial devil fruit also be mass-produced? Lei Te just saw at least 10 pacifists. It can only be mass-produced. According to that person, the bloodline factor of each devil fruit is different, and it takes a lot of time to make a map of it and then mass-produce it. Sabo explained, but the new generation of pacifists also needs a special material, that is, a heart that has not lost its vitality. Currently, this thing can only be removed by using the power of the op fruit, and the world government does not have much in stock. Trafalgar Law. Lei Te remembered one thing. The condition for Luo to become Shichibukai was to give Marine 100 pirates' hearts. It turned out that they were used here. Now the only question left is how powerful the new pacifist is, Lei Te said. The meatball fruit has been developed almost to the limit by Bear. Not only can it bounce off any substance, the speed at which it bounces off can also be freely controlled according to the consciousness of the user. It can also repel special entities such as fatigue, pain, and injury, and play a role similar to that of treatment. It can even eject itself at the speed of light, creating an instant teleportation effect, similar to Lei Te's Shunpo, but with a much greater range. We don't know either, we can only try. Our Revolutionary Army can tie up 5 of them, and the rest depends on you Buggy Pirates. Sabo said. He was not nervous. As a royal group, the Buggy Pirates should have no problem dealing with the remaining pacifists. Depend on us. Lei Te looked at his cadres. Captain Buggy, you know I only play high-end games. Enemies like pacifists are hard to inspire me to fight. Mr. 3 held his eyes. Captain Buggy, you know that my slippery slip fruit has a similar ability to the bear's meat puff fruit. I may not be a match for the pacifist. Alvida was a little embarrassed. Captain Buggy, you know me well. The fat Moki said seriously, I am known as the king of beasts, but the lion Licky has dragged down my strength. Before I can tame a new beast, I am afraid. Before Moki could finish his words, he was slapped to the ground by the lion Licky. Captain Buggy, you know me. Buggy saw the captain turn his gaze to him and said quickly, I just unsealed the wheelbarrow, and it will take some time for me to adapt to the new power. It turns out that we can't count on these guys anymore. It should be no problem for the 4 of you to deal with a pacifist, Lei Te sighed. The 4 people and the lion nodded frantically. Captain Buggy, I can handle one too, Bonnie volunteered. Okay, leave the rest of the pacifists to me. Lei Te felt relieved. At least there was still someone to hold the scene, even though he had just joined. This. Sabo didn't expect the Buggy Pirates leader to be like this. Is it possible that Captain Buggy is the only top fighter of the Buggy Pirates? Speaking of which, the bounty of the Buggy Pirates is indeed not that high. The Red Hair Pirates are known as the most balanced and iron-walled pirates group with the highest bounty per capita, so the cadres of the Buggy Pirates group should be the paper-walled pirates group with the lowest bounty per capita. However, Sabo initially thought that they had been doing business for the past 2 years and did not pose much threat to the world government, so there was not much bounty. Now it seems that their bounty is low because they lack strength. Sabo shook his head, thinking that maybe he was overthinking it. Maybe the Buggy Pirates had other hidden tricks. At this time, the world government's warships could already be seen. Dozens of tall figures stood on the deck, and their nearly 7-meter height brought great oppression. Zen Taomaru, we can't let them go. The 5 elders' orders are to bury them in the sea with new pacifists. The commander of the World Government Army, Spandam, said nervously, as long as I take down Buggy the Clown's head, the celestial dragons will definitely reward me well. Don't speak to me in a commanding tone. Zhan Taowen glanced at Spandam with some disgust. The order I received was only to assist you. This damn fat man, you will be in trouble sooner or later. Spandam cursed in his heart, but he couldn't offend him now, because the command of the pacifists was still in his hands. Spandam took out a golden Den Den Mushi and said with a strange smile, Master Sen Dao Wan, do you need to activate Buster Call? The 5 elders really trusted this piece of trash. Zhan Taomaru said, no need, pacifist, prepare to attack. 10 pacifists stood in a row, with yellow light coming out of their mouths. It is Marine Admiral Kizaru's fruit skill, Superburn Laser. The big one is coming, Boss Buggy. Sabo's body was ablaze with fire, preparing for the coming impact. Lei Te also wrapped the Conqueror's haki he had just mastered around his sword, and he was the only one who could withstand this light attack from the entire Buggy Pirates group. Dragon Claw, Flame Dragon King. God Avoid. The 3 forces collided on the sea, causing huge waves and shaking all the ships. Hold steady, prepare to board, and fight on the enemy's warship. Chapter 17 Crocodile. When Lei Te boarded the world government's warship and fought with the new pacifists, he discovered that the pacifists had been strengthened in more than one way. The White Thunder released by Lei Te was deflected by the pacifists' meatball, and even when using Conqueror's entanglement attack, most of the power was deflected away by the meatball fruit. Fortunately, pacifists don't use teleportation, otherwise they would be more difficult to deal with. Another reason why it is so difficult is that Lei Te needs to deal with 4 pacifists alone, plus a Zhan Taomaru who is waiting for an opportunity nearby. The key point is that Zhan Taowen is still talking incessantly. That's weird. Even if Chop Chop Fruit has awakened, it shouldn't be able to use the power of lightning, right? Your split is a bit too exaggerated. Has the Chop Chop Fruit awakened into 1,000 cuts form? Are you imitating red-haired Shanks by wearing this long cape? What do you think of the strength of these pacifists? But you were able to fight 4 of them by yourself. It seems that you did not meet the doctor's expectations. You. So annoying. The magnetic field is rotating 60,000 times, 10 directions thunder pull. Lei Te divided his body into 10 parts, then drew electric current, turning the nearby area into a lightning field. But the 4 pacifists stood back to back facing 4 directions, creating an unaffected space in the minefield. Zhan Taomaru jumped onto the shoulder of a pacifist and exclaimed, the 4-sided 5-cleft fruit can be used like this. It would have been great if the doctor had analyzed this fruit back then. Do you usually talk so much? Lei Te retracted his split body. It seemed that energy attacks were of little use to pacifists. Of course not, I usually don't talk much. After all, I'm the most talkative man in the world. Zhan Taomaru said. How many of these new pacifist world governments have produced? Lei Te had an idea and asked Zhan Taowen directly. I won't tell you that there are only 10 of the latest pacifists. Ordinary pirates' hearts are not enough to drive the pacifists' fruit ability. The doctor can only use 10 hearts connected together to drive it. Now the world government has no extra hearts. Zhan Taowen knew everything and spoke out the secrets of the world government openly. Zhan Taowen, you idiot. Spandam, who was hiding far away, cursed, can you tell me something like this? Shut up, I'm very tight-lipped and I know what to say and what not to say. Zhan Taowen cursed back. Just these 10. That's acceptable. Lei Te retracted his body and began to fight the pacifist using Conqueror's Coil. Conqueror's Entanglement. Conqueror's Haki cannot be acquired through training. Captain Buggy's bloodline is also extraordinary. Zhan Taomaru started chattering again. The so-called bloodline theory is just bullshit. Lei Te sneered. Lousy comprehended Conqueror's Haki because I have the courage to swallow up the world, not because of that meaningless bloodline. Zhan Taomaru suddenly fell silent, then drew out the giant axe behind him. You are a respectable opponent, Captain Buggy. How can we miss such an opponent? Armament Haki. Demon Slayer. Zhan Taowen's arm and the giant axe turned black, and he slashed at Lei Te fiercely. But it was no use. Lei Te's body was separated directly from it, avoiding the attack of the giant axe. Let's have a manly fight, Captain Buggy. Zantaomaru was a little dissatisfied. What's the point of relying on the power of the fruit? Then you first make these 4 pacifists stop, and I will have a manly battle with you. Lei Te's main focus was still on the pacifists. Forget it then. Zantaomaru swung the battle axe a few more times and found that he couldn't hurt his opponent at all. Your fruit ability can even ignore Hawkeye's swordsmanship. I am no match for you alone. Zantaomaru retracted his giant axe, but, even if you can hold back 4 pacifists, Captain Buggy, your men can't do that. Lei Te took some time to look at the battle situation and found that Zantaoan was right. Bonnie is fine. Her fruit ability should be to control the life energy in her body and can switch between weak and strong. When you are weak, you can become an old person, and when you are strong, you can become a middle-aged person. Now she has become a mature woman, fighting against the pacifists with taijutsu at her peak. Even if you are injured, green light will appear from time to time in your body to heal yourself, and your injuries will recover quickly. Is this the life energy that is stored up normally? No wonder she is called the Big Eater. Unfortunately, the opponent is a half-machine, half-life cyborg. Lei Te sees Bonnie injecting green light into the pacifist's body from time to time, but with little effect. If Bonnie can still maintain the balance, Mr. Three's situation is unbearable to watch. As the highest-ranking officers of the Buggy Pirates, they were outnumbered 5-1, but were chased by the pacifists and had to flee in all directions. Mr. Three's candle can block Magellan's venom, but it can't block the flying ability of the meatball fruit. The pacifists fired pressure shots from time to time, and except for Alvida who could deflect them, the rest of the people did not dare to take them head-on. The Revolutionary Army was already having a hard time dealing with the 4 pacifists, and they were unable to spare any effort to help them. The ordinary crew members have the upper hand. The crew members of the Buggy Pirates are suppressing the world government's army. They are indeed the experts in impel down prison. Can you guys hold on? Lei Te asked. If not, we can only include the pacifist in the attack range. But Lei Te has developed a few moves by rotating his magnetic field, and further development will take time. If you use Chop Chop Fruit to perform a fission explosion, it's hard to control the power. Captain Buggy, come and save us. The 4 shouted loudly, accompanied by the roar of Lion Lakey. Mr. 3, as the Emperor's vice chairman, you must always maintain your demeanor. Desert Diamond Sword. 4 sand blades blocked the pacifist's attack, and a figure in a black fur coat appeared in front of the foursome. Boss, didn't we agree on this when we got here? If we want to join the Buggy Pirates, we have to at least address you as third brother. Armament hockey. Spiral slash. A black figure spun at high speed and rushed towards the pacifist, its arms turning into sharp weapons and attacking the pacifist. Crocodile. Mr. 3 exclaimed, why are you here? Didn't Daz Bonus say that? Crocodile laughed, we want to join the Buggy Pirates. You guy, I know your character. You will never submit to others. What are you planning? Mr. 3 didn't believe Crocodile's words. Captain Buggy. Crocodile ignored Mr. 3 and asked Lei Te, what is the last wish of Pirates King Roger? Chapter 18 To Shichibukai Join. Captain Roger's last wish. Lei Te didn't expect that Crocodile, the newspaper king, would come here and be interested in this. Why are you asking this? I decided to go out to sea after watching his execution. Desert Great Sword. Crocodile reached into the sandy deck, and a huge sword of sand burst out, attacking the pacifist. There is no legacy at all. Captain Roger just gave everyone a reason to go to sea. Lei Te used Shunpo to dodge the pacifist's attack. Why do you need others to decide your life? The magnetic field rotates 50,000 times, fiery lightning howl. Lei Te hit the pacifist with the black lightning ball. Crocodile, you are not a child anymore. Shouldn't your so-called ideals be decided and practiced by you yourself? That makes sense, Captain Buggy. Crocodile laughed. So, why did you pretend to be a clown? When I first learned that you became one of the 4 emperors, I even wanted to come and kill you right away. Crocodile, you really have bad intentions. Mr. 3 said, What do you want to do? I want to see if Captain Buggy has the ability to bear the title of 4 emperors. If not, why not give it to me? Crocodile surrounded the pacifist with sand, but now it seems that Captain Buggy deceived the whole world. There are indeed no weaklings in the Roger Pirates. He had discovered how difficult it was to deal with the pacifists, but Buggy was dealing with 4 of them alone. Roger Pirates are indeed full of monsters. If you can't beat them, then join them. Lei Te said with a smile, what do you want from me? A chance to fight a master. As you become the enemy of the world, fighting is inevitable. I want to become stronger and surpass Whitebeard. Crocodile said. If you want to fight with masters, why don't you go to the Holy Land of Mariajoy and kill some celestial dragons? You don't have to join my pirates group. Lei Te said. I want to become stronger, not commit suicide. Crocodile knew that if he did what Buggy said, there was a high probability that he would be torn to pieces by Marine. Do you agree or not? But let me make it clear in advance, my loyalty is limited. Once my strength exceeds yours, I will rebel at any time. Crocodile was a little angry. This guy seems a bit arrogant. Lei Te thought. Welcome to the Buggy Pirates. A Shichibukai level expert came specially to join, and Lei Te naturally had no reason to refuse. That's great. I was right about you, Captain Buggy. You have the courage to match your ambition, said Crocodile. You guy, even if Captain Buggy agrees, I will keep a close eye on you, Crocodile, and don't try to play any tricks. Mr. 3 said angrily. Don't worry, I will get along well with Captain Buggy until I become stronger than him. Crocodile laughed wildly and launched his ultimate move. Armed Black Crescent Dune. The sand that had turned black after being stained by armament hockey tightly surrounded the pacifist, trying to suck the moisture out of his body. As the water was lost, the pacifist's movements began to become sluggish, and the ability of the meat globe fruit became intermittent. This guy's ability is a bit troublesome. Zhang Taowen took out a notebook and wrote on it while saying, the 10 hearts in the pacifist's body are still its weak point. If it loses water, the ability of the fruit will decrease. Although it reached the level of Shichibukai as expected, it is still somewhat insufficient in actual combat. It seems that canceling Shichibukai was a bit hasty. Really, it's the appearance of this thing that disrupted my peaceful life. A voice sounded behind Zhang Taowen. Ah, Zhang Taomaru turned his head and found a pair of yellow eyes as sharp as an eagle staring at him. Hawkeye Mahawk, why are you here? Zhang Taowen suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. If you were quietly tasting wine at home and a group of Marines suddenly came outside and blew your house to pieces, you wouldn't ask this stupid question, said Mahawk. Ha, that's none of my business. Zhang Taomaru could feel that Hawkeye was not in a good mood. In fact, he also felt that the world government's one-size-fits-all approach to the 7 warlords of the sea was a bit stupid. Some Shichibukai are causing trouble everywhere and they really should be cracked down on. But why do you want to provoke a guy like Hawkeye who usually stays at home and doesn't cause trouble or make any trouble? Even if his Shichibukai title was revoked, he probably wouldn't bother to care. As a result, they had to send Marines to encircle and suppress them. It can only be said that the victory in the Summit War and the addition of Marine Admiral made the world government feel that its strength had greatly increased. Coupled with the successful development of the final version of the pacifist, the 5 elders had the illusion that they were invincible. Not only did they cancel the 7 warlords of the sea system, they also launched an attack on Shichibukai. Those 5 old guys stay in the house every day and act like ghosts. Could they be suffering from Alzheimer's disease? Zhang Taomaru cursed the 5 elders in his mind, but his body quickly hid behind the pacifist because he saw Hawkeye had already drawn his Black Blade Knight. Armament hockey turns Hawkeye's sword pure black. The next moment, Hawkeye raised his sword and slashed at the pacifist. Bounce him away. Zhang Taowen gave the order quickly. However, another shortcoming of the pacifists was revealed. They only had the abilities of the Tyrant Bear, but not the Tyrant Bear's combat experience. If the real Tyrant Bear was here, he could use the meatballs in his hands to deflect Black Knife Knight's attack. But facing the attack from the world's greatest swordsman, the pacifist was a little slow to react. Hawkeye's black knife avoided the pacifist's two-handed interception and cut it in half. The sword energy attached to the black knife also cut Lei Te in half. "Hey, don't hurt anyone by mistake," Lei Te said as he put the separated bodies back together. "Sure enough, you didn't use observation haki to dodge in advance, but the slash had no effect on you at all." Hawkeye didn't care about the pacifist, but looked at Lei Te thoughtfully. "I was wondering during the Summit War. With the speed at which I swing my sword, if you split your body in advance to dodge, then your observation haki must have been trained to its limit. Now it seems that the splitting of the body occurs automatically when the slash is launched. You really are the nemesis of all swordsmen in the world. You hurt me on purpose just to confirm this." Lei Te saw that the pacifist who was split in half had obvious traces of flesh and blood tissue in his body, so he sent out a white thunder to burn them. "No, my real purpose is to join your Buggy Pirates," Hawkeye said. "The world government is immoral and has ruined my peaceful life. So, as a revenge on them, joining your pirates is the best choice." Chapter 19. Both are Shichibukai, but their strengths are different. Do my Buggy Pirates have some magical powers? Lei Te even suspected that Buggy had some kind of inexplicable luck, which was why Shichibukai kept coming to join him. "No, but among the four emperors, the only one who is truly hostile to the world government is your pirates, right?" Hawkeye said. "That's true. The Straw Hat Pirates' target is the Great Treasure, and the Red Hair Pirates' target is unknown. As for the Blackbeard Pirates, Hawkeye probably wouldn't bother hanging out with them. If you want to take revenge on the world government, your only option is to join the Buggy Pirates. And what really made me make up my mind was your speech. I want to see what kind of storm you will stir up in the world with such a bold statement." Hawkeye swung the black sword knight, and powerful slashes flew towards the pacifist. Red Hair bet his arm on the new era. "Then I will bet my sword on you, and see if you can become the king of the new era." Here comes another amazing guy, Daz. Crocodile trapped the pacifist with sand, lit a cigar, and took a deep puff. "I can go and learn swordsmanship from him in the future. I didn't expect that joining the Buggy Pirates would have such benefits." A rare smile appeared on Daz's cold face. But Daz looked at Mr. 3, who was embarrassed by the pacifist. "Third brother, your title of vice captain is about to be lost. Hawkeye is the world's #1 swordsman, unlike the fallen crocodile. No matter which four emperors, pirates group he joins, he must at least be a vice emperor." "Who cares about that?" Mr. 3 shouted insincerely. "It's just that you Shichibukai are joining our Buggy Pirates one by one. Isn't it a pre-planned agreement? I'm no longer a Shichibukai." Crocodile waved a few clouds of sand, "but there should be others joining the Buggy Pirates." Killing the celestial dragons not only sounded the clarion call for the fight against the world government, but also allowed countless powerful people who had hatred for the celestial dragons to find a way to seek revenge. All of this must have been planned by Captain Buggy. What a terrible man, Crocodile sighed. Is Captain Buggy really that powerful? Alvida whispered, "Why did I feel he was stupid before? Perhaps the captain's acting skills are too superb." Mr. 3 adjusted his glasses. The clown he played was just like the real one. Even those of us who spend every day with him didn't notice anything unusual. If I had half the acting skills of Captain Buggy, Alabasta would have been mine long ago. Crocodile recalled their first encounter in Impel Down, when he really regarded Buggy as a clown. Only now did he realize that the clown was actually himself. Things are not looking good. Zantaomaru watched Buggy and Hawkeye join forces, and the remaining 3 pacifists were already in danger. Overclocking mode, start. Zantaomaru gave the order, and the remaining pacifists were shocked, and red light appeared in their mechanical eyes. "What is this?" Lei Te, who knew Zantaowen's temper, asked him directly. The overclocking mode fully activates the bloodline factor in the pacifist's body, gaining 150% strength in a short period of time, but it will also greatly shorten the lifespan of the heart. Zantaowen explained everything. Zantaomaru, you idiot. Why do you have to explain it so clearly to the enemy? Spandam had been paying attention to the battle situation here, and when he noticed that Zantaomaru was still explaining things to the enemy, he couldn't help but burst into curses. "You are the real idiot," Zantaomaru said. "I came here just to test the combat power of the pacifists. Now that the test is completed, it's time for me to leave." "Wait, what will happen to the enemy if you leave?" Spandam said anxiously. "It's pointless to stay here. This version of the pacifist was developed with the Shichibukai in mind, but our current opponent is the Four Emperors." Zantaomaru glanced at Lei Te. Failure is inevitable. Even the pacifist in overclocked state could only hold back Lei Te and Hawkeye, and failure was only a matter of time. He belongs to an independent scientific force and has no affiliation with the world government's army. Moreover, the leader of the team this time is the annoying guy Spandam. "If you try to flee the battlefield, I will report you to the 5 elders and they will not let you go." Spandam could only threaten. "How can I say I'm escaping? As a former captain of the Science Corps, I know too many secrets. Even if I'm the most tight-lipped man in the world, the 5 elders won't allow me to be captured by the enemy." As he spoke, Zantaomaru had already flown into the air using moonwalk. "I'm just making a strategic retreat." "Damn you, Science Corps. Before we came here, didn't you swear that every one of these pacifists had the fighting power of a Shichibukai?" Spandam's heart sank. He thought he could take down the smuggled Four Emperors buggy with 10 pacifists, but now even protecting himself has become a problem. "There are also differences among Shichibukai." Zantaomaru's voice came from a distance. "We are not lying. Just assume that the strength of a pacifist is equivalent to the weakest Shichibukai." For a time, many people turned their attention to Crocodile, especially the supporting quartet. "What do you mean? I'm no longer a Shichibukai. Besides, am I the weakest?" Crocodile was a little annoyed and angry when he was looked at. "Because you were the first Shichibukai to be defeated and removed." Everyone's eyes clearly expressed this meaning. Black coffin. Crocodile's entire body turned into sand, forming a sand coffin that tightly trapped the pacifist. The pacifist used the meatball fruit to break the sand coffin, and sand was immediately replenished from other places. Inside the sand coffin, the water in the pacifist's body was gradually sucked away, and he gradually lost his devil fruit ability, and was finally strangled into pieces by Crocodile. "I can deal with many guys like this at a time." Crocodile, who had transformed into a human form again, looked a little pale. It seemed that the previous move had consumed a lot of his physical strength. "There are still many over there." Mr. 3 pointed to the Revolutionary Army. "Help them. I should have watched you turn into banana crocodile feces." Crocodile glared at Mr. 3 fiercely. "Are you up to something bad? In our Buggy Pirates group, killing each other is a serious crime." Mr. 3 keenly sensed the murderous intent. "I'll go help them deal with the enemy right now." Crocodile didn't want to be called the weakest Shichibukai in history. But it was no longer necessary, as a strong wind began to blow above the calm sea. The revolutionary soldiers who were fighting all showed joy. Flame Dragon Claw Fist Flame Dragon King. Sabo delivers his strongest attack to the pacifist. At the same time, a voice came from the sky. Wild Wind Dragon Claw Fist, Storm Dragon King. Chapter 20. Wanokuni, the planned logistics base. The black storm turned into a dragon's claws, leaving 3 deep scars on the pacifist's body. The power of fire flowed into the pacifist's body through the scar, causing an explosion. A black man wearing a black robe and with a red square tattoo on the left side of his face appeared in front of everyone. Commander-in-Chief. The morale of the Revolutionary Army was immediately boosted. The leader of the Revolutionary Army, Monkey D. Dragon, joins the battlefield. "Did you invite him here, Captain Buggy?" Hawkeye asked. "No, actually I just happened to meet the Revolutionary Army, there is no connection at all." Lei Te said. "Since I've decided to join the Buggy Pirates, my stance is the same as yours. There's no point in hiding it." Hawkeye didn't believe Lei Te's words at all. 2/3 of the top leaders of the entire Revolutionary Army are here, and you still say that you have nothing to do with the Revolutionary Army. Why doesn't anyone believe me when I tell the truth? Lei Te coordinated with Hawkeye's slash to launch fiery lightning howl, hitting the pacifist. Just like your strength, you have hidden your true self too deeply. Hawkeye said. I'm curious about one thing. Does Shanks know your true strength? I remember he invited you to go out to sea with him. Have you been eavesdropping? Lei Te thought of Buggy this time. The first time Red Hair and Hawkeye met should be in Logetown. I just happened to hear it, and Crocodile and Long were there at the time, right? Hawkeye said, now fate has brought us together again. Those insignificant little people back then have now become powerful and influential figures on the sea. Let me see the swordsmanship of Roger, the pirate's king. Let me see the difference between you and Shanks when using the same swordsmanship. Hawkeye stopped and looked at Lei Te with sharp eyes. So this is your purpose. Lei Te released the Conqueror's haki and wrapped it around his sword. Actually, Captain Roger didn't teach me much. Lei Te searched through Buggy's memories of learning swordsmanship. This move is called Divine Enemy. Black sparks jumped on the sword, transforming into sword energy that flew towards the pacifist. The pacifist tried to use the meatball-shaped fruit to deflect it, but the Conqueror's entangled power hit it directly into its body. Lei Te could see the blood gushing out of the pacifist, its heart shattered by the Conqueror's entangled power. The sword in Lei Te's hand was also broken. It's just a fine weapon, and can't stand up to the power of Conqueror's entanglement. His swordsmanship was crude, but the strength of Conqueror's haki was no less than Shanks. No, he is stronger than Shanks. Buggy's Conqueror's haki has the ambition to conquer the world. Hawkeye evaluates Lei Te's swordsmanship. Friend, why do you want to bet the new era on Luffy instead of choosing to create an era yourself like Buggy did? We are not old yet. Hawkeye wielded the Black Blade Knight and killed the other two pacifists. Lei Te went to help Bonnie. You guys go and capture the leader here. When passing by the soy sauce 4, Lei Te ordered them to capture Spandam. Don't let him get away. Spandam is just a useless piece of shit with low combat power. It should be no problem for the 4 of them to catch him. Okay, Captain. Mr. 3 finally found something to do. Let's go and catch someone. Leek, remember that guy's scent and don't lose him. Mochi found Spandam's trail and began to command the lion Leek. Lei Te was a little surprised to see Liji the lion sniffing around like a dog. Being able to train a lion to be like a dog, maybe this guy Mochi is a genius in animal taming. The mature version of Bonnie and the pacifist were evenly matched, and the fight was difficult to determine the winner. Lei Te watched for a while and felt a little dizzy. Bonnie already has a great figure, but I didn't expect that she still has room for improvement after becoming a mature woman. The white short-sleeved shirt was trying its best to cover it, but it was powerless. Lei Te was really afraid that it would break in anger. Captain Buggy, go help the others. I can still hold on. Bonnie's body was glowing green from time to time, and his injuries were improving rapidly. I'm afraid your clothes won't hold up. Your ability to heal yourself is not infinite, right? It is obtained through food transformation. Lei Te flashed and joined the battle. Yeah, that's why I keep eating whenever I have time. Bonnie admitted readily. A single pacifist is not difficult to deal with, as the meat globe fruit cannot provide perfect defense. Especially after mastering the pacifist's weakness, Lei Te directly used his ability to break into pieces to disassemble the pacifist's mechanical parts, revealing the core flesh and blood tissue. Then he used White Thunder to easily paralyze the pacifist. Is there such a huge gap in strength between us? Bonnie looked at the fallen pacifist, feeling unwilling. The supernovas who debuted at the beginning were almost the same in strength. Unexpectedly, in just a few years, some people ascended to the position of 4 emperors, and some became big pirates with a bounty of 3 billion. Even he had to rely on the help of others to rescue his father. Compare with me, I'm much older than you. Lei Te looked at Bonnie and suddenly hesitated. I forgot that the captain is a figure from the previous generation. Bonnie returned to her girlish appearance and put her complicated feelings behind her. But Captain, have you seen Luffy? Is he really that strong? How should I put it? It's not a question of whether he is strong or not, but it's very painful to fight him. Lei Te thinks that if Mr. Cornetto is given a chance to choose again, he will definitely not fight with Luffy. Apart from anything else, the constant sit-ups are really unbearable. Lei Te didn't want to conflict with Luffy before he cultivated the magnetic field rotation to the top level or mastered the fusion ability. However, Luffy's goal is the great treasure. He plays his pirate's treasure hunt game, and Lei Te goes to conquer the world. The two are not in conflict. However, with the addition of Hawkeye and Crocodile, we might be able to take down Wano Kuni, as the terrain there is a perfect logistical base. The 9 red scabbards. Lei Te wanted to see if they could defend Wano Kuni without the help of Luffy and his gang. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.